welcome in Lisa Byington, who's standing by with head coach Gary Anderson.
Kevin, thank you. Coach, Minnesota's run game is so important to them, and we don't know how effective David Cobb will be today. How did that affect your preparation this week?
Not at all. They have very talented running backs, and he's a tremendous player. David is absolutely, but they've got proven players back there. The key is the quarterback run game. We've got to handle that.
You play your rival on senior day and a championship on the line. What's the last thing that you reminded these guys before they left the locker room?
Just get in the moment, enjoy it, have fun, play the game you love, put a smile on your face, and let's go. Two great teams are battling it out.
All right, thank you.
Wisconsin wins the toss. They elect to defer. So let's look at our Auto Owners Insurance impact players with Minnesota having the ball.
David Cobb, when he was declared healthy for this game, they got 60% of their run game back. How about Max Williams? He leads the Minnesota team in most of the reception categories, but he's the perfect tight end in this run-oriented offense. And how about Michael Caputo? Dave Aranda, defensive coordinator, is going to move Caputo around, and he will most likely blitz maybe half the snaps. It'll be right before the snap, Kevin, so that Minnesota doesn't know Caputo's the extra guy in the box.
Andrew Endicott kicking it off. Back deep. Jalen Myrick and KJ May. Electric atmosphere in Madison. And a lot on the line today. Thrilled to have you with us as we get this one started between Minnesota and Wisconsin. And a short kickoff taken by Tyler Hartman, the up back. Hartman, one of the backup fullbacks for this Gopher team, out to the 32-yard line. And what a day we have here in Madison. Not only a game with great stakes, but a day with great weather. 42 degrees in late November in Madison, Wisconsin. How about that?
And if you're a player, it's actually perfect weather, right? Because you're not overheated. You won't even know that it's 40 degrees. It might feel like it's 60 to you, and it's perfect weather.
There's Mitch Leidner, singled out a moment ago by Gary Anderson as the guy they had to stop on the ground. Over 400 yards rushing this year for Mitch Leidner.
He had 100 yards last week against Nebraska. That was the unusual thing. Look for that same thing to happen tonight. He's got to carry the ball more. David
Cobb indeed getting the start. Williams in motion on first down at the 31. Cobb the carry. And Cobb lunging forward for a couple. And we saw Michael Caputo right before the snap. And there's Caputo already with a tackle.
Absolutely. This is part of the Wisconsin scheme. Add the extra man to the box and do it as late as possible so the quarterback cannot audible and change the play.
Now Cobb leaves the game, and Donnell Kirkwood comes in for Minnesota.
And I would expect Kirkwood to play quite a bit.
Picking your spots with David Cobb, perhaps?
Yeah, he's got to loosen that hamstring up a little bit. He's not going to know if it's full speed until he runs full speed.
On second down. And the give to Jones. Donovan Jones stood up at the 35-yard line. Peniel Jean, who had a career-high 7 tackles last week against Iowa, comes in to make the stop.
Here's the first thing the coaches are going to see in the box. Mitch Leidner was untouched, even though it was a fake. The Wisconsin defense didn't necessarily know that. Look for Minnesota to get the ball in Leidner's hands in the run game. Maybe this play.
David Cobb is back in the lineup once more. Jogging onto the field on this 3rd and 7. First possession of the ball game here. Cobb and Thomas in the backfield. May in motion. Leidner to the air for the first time, and the pass incomplete. KJ May, the intended receiver. The coverage from Sojer and Shelton. May wanted a flag. None coming, and it's 4th down.
And Wisconsin brought pressure, and they will continue to bring pressure on 3rd, medium, 3rd, long until Minnesota absolutely tells them that they can protect it, and then they'll play coverage. So you can see that they are going to get in Leidner's face every chance they get in situation football. 3rd and 7 is situation football.
So the pass incomplete, and that means time to punt. Peter Mortel to punt for Minnesota. Kenzel Doe back deep, and Mortel uncorks a beauty all the way back to the 11-yard line. Doe down at the 15 with the ball out. Fumble on the play. Scooped up at the 14-yard line, and it's going to be Minnesota football. The Gophers get the first big break of the day. The recovery on the field by Eric Murray, and the Gophers have it inside the Wisconsin 15.
And Kenzel Doe was fighting for the extra yardage. He wasn't far away from breaking that one. It was set up pretty well. It was a middle return. Look for 2 things on this play. Either play action right into the end zone, or again, I go back to the Leidner run. It's got to be here now.
Kenzel Doe. Jack Lynn forced it out, Jerry DiNardo. That's his third forced fumble of the year.
He's got to squeeze the ball as he's going down. That was the technical issue with Kenzel on that play.
They're going to look at it just to confirm.
First down. The previous play is under further review.
They're going to take another look at this to make sure Doe wasn't down before the ball came out. We've had a chance to see a couple of quick glimpses at it. On your first reaction, Jerry DiNardo, what did you see? Do you think Kenzel Doe was down, or was that ball out before he went down?
Yeah, I'd like to see it again, but my first reaction is that the play is going to stand. Let's take a look at it. He should be squeezing the ball. Let's check his left knee. Yeah, the ball's loose. Looks like it is to me. Yeah, that's loose. He's got to squeeze it as he goes down. At the point of contact, wherever the ball is, you've got to squeeze it.
After further review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. Fumble recovered.
Good stop.
You told us at the top of the broadcast, turnover margin so big for Minnesota. They had to win the turnover battle. Jerry Kill up one in that turnover battle already, and we're just underway.
And it was in a special team, so your defense wasn't on the field, so there's still going to be opportunities for the Minnesota defense to get some more turnovers.
+12 this year for Minnesota. And now a golden opportunity at the 13-yard line of Wisconsin. Cobb back in the backfield. May in motion, Cobb the carry. And Cobb down to the 10-yard line. Marcus Trotter on the tackle for Wisconsin.
Great gain on first down. I mean, when you're in this situation and the field is shrinking, you can't throw the ball as efficiently when you're out in the middle of the field. And now they're ahead of the stakes. Now they're in 2nd and 6, which is a perfect place for the Minnesota offense.
This is a Minnesota offense very good in the red zone, as you see, 38 for 43. They had a slump mid-season where they struggled, but they've really picked it up of late. Kirkwood now in the lineup next to Leidner. Leidner on the run to the edge. Leidner to the goal line, and Leidner in for the touchdown. Gophers cash in on the turnover, and Leidner scoots in for 6.
There's no doubt they established the tailback on almost every play since the game has started. You knew Leidner was going to pull one of these at a critical time. That was a critical time.
The extra point by Santoso is good. Minnesota came in with 94 points off turnovers this season. Now 100. Nebraska.
And I would expect it to continue that way, especially with David Cobb a little bit banged up. So Leidner will be as much part of the run game as he was a week ago.
Kenzel Doe at the 5-yard line. To the 15 and stopped short of the 20. No, he was not down. And Doe able to keep it going out to the 26-yard line. The knee never touched. Doe realized that and picked up a little extra yardage for the Badgers.
He's trying to make up for his mistake. I mean, this is a great example of a guy who's very, very competitive. See how high and tight the ball was? Right there when on contact. This time, he went high and tight with the ball.
Here's quarterback Joel Stave. 6-0 as a starter this season. 6 touchdowns, 4 interceptions for Stave. Single setback, and this will surprise you. I know it's Melvin Gordon. Gordon slips through an opening and gets a couple out to the 28-yard line. Let's take a look at the Auto Owners Insurance impact players with Wisconsin on offense.
Well, you've already mentioned Melvin Gordon. They're down 7-0. They have a great player, but they have to be patient with Gordon. It can't happen right away. Rob Havenstein, 6'8", 333, the most prestigious position on the offensive line. Right tackle, Cameron Botticelli. He's going to be in a fight with Havenstein all afternoon. He's a run stopper.
I can hear it now. Left tackles and centers are going to be killing you on Twitter after that comment.
In a run offense, it's the right tackle.
2nd down and 8. Doe the motion man. Stave with time going up top. And almost intercepted. He was looking for Troy Fumagalli, but Eric Murray had a shot at his 2nd interception of the year.
Yeah, Stave's got to be a little bit careful with this throw. This should have been thrown out of bounds. They were going for a big play. You can see it's a play-action pass. He should have laid it up more. But sometimes that play is open and you throw it. If it's not, throw it out of bounds and play the next down.
3rd down and 8, 40% plus on 3rd down this year are the Badgers.
Be interesting if Minnesota brings pressure. Looks like they're going to bring it on the top over the right receiver.
On 3rd down, here comes that pressure. Stave standing in, juggling catch made for the 1st down by Sam Arneson. At the 42-yard line, a 14-yard pickup, and the Badgers move the chains.
That was a great play by Stave, sitting in the pocket. He knew he was getting pressure. Look at him. He sees it coming to his right. It's clearly in his vision. He stays right in the pocket. You couldn't have thrown that ball any better. The route was, there was something wrong with the route. There were 2 receivers in the same area.
So the Badgers convert through the air on 3rd down, and now on 1st. Watt shifts into the eye in front of Melvin Gordon. Gordon on the right side. A little shake, and he's just tripped up at midfield.
This is where the patience comes in. Melvin will have his opportunities. This is early in a fight where you're just kind of slugging it out, getting a feel for one another. It's a zone lead play. Fullbacks running the ISO play. Melvin makes an inside cut. You always attack the inside shoulder of the tackler.
2nd down and 2 after the 8-yard run for Melvin Gordon. He now holds the Big Ten rushing record. Outright came in tied with Ron Dayne, so he was going to break it with his 1st carry. 2nd and 2. Gordon again. And Gordon drags Cedric Thompson with him to the 47 and gets the 1st down. Melvin Gordon, Kenosha, Wisconsin, breaks Ron Dayne's record. You came in tied. You knew it was going to happen, and he did. So congratulations yet again. Melvin Gordon rewriting the history books as far as running backs go, not only at Wisconsin, but across college football.
He's been a great player, and in this offense, he has a great opportunity to break all of those records.
Tanner McAvoy now in at quarterback for Wisconsin on 1st down at the 47-yard line. McAvoy going to run. McAvoy, good run on 1st down, and he moves it all the way to the 39 of Minnesota. Travis and Murray on the stop. And Gary Anderson told us yesterday he will never have an offense again that doesn't have a quarterback run element like McAvoy brings.
Necessity is the mother of invention. I mean, you never picture yourself being in a situation where you like 2 quarterbacks, but they've made it work here at Wisconsin. They've got 2 different styles, and they use them both.
Touchdown in each of the last 3 games. Stave back in there now, and he hands to Melvin Gordon. And Gordon stopped short of the 1st down at the 39-yard line. Cedric Thompson on the tackle as we check in for a Slim Jim studio update.
Well, Kevin, it's called the Land-Grant Trophy game between Michigan State and Penn State. And on the opening kickoff, the Nittany Lions grant R.J. Shelton a whole lot of land. How about 90 yards to the house? Michael Geiger has just added a field goal. Spartans on top of the Nittany Lions, 10-0.
Here a 7-0 lead for the Gophers, and a 3rd down and 2 as Joel Stave will go to the air. Pressure coming. Stave going to have to scramble, and he will not get there. Cedric Thompson forcing him out back at the 41-yard line, and the Minnesota defense comes up large on 3rd down, but a flag is down on the opposite side of the field of where Stave went out of bounds at the 24-yard line.
It could be holding by the corner, by Minnesota's corner, where the flag, that's what the position of the flag would indicate. They were trying to run a wheel route, and he may have been held.
Dave Whitvote, our referee.
During the play, holding, defense number 29. 1-yard penalty, automatic 1st down.
Brian Body Calhoun, he's the co-defensive player of the week in the conference this week, but that flag ends up costing Minnesota.
Yeah, let's take a look at him here. You can see he closes in with him right there. He's got to get his hands out. He can't keep his hands inside. They'll call it every time.
So the penalty gives Wisconsin the 1st down.
We see that coverage more and more in college football. The last 3 or 4 years, so much more man coverage. Just changed the game.
Erickson in motion on 1st down. Melvin Gordon. Broke through. Spins away from the tackle. And it's going off to the races. Tripped up from behind. The touchdown Demarius Travis had a chance to get Melvin Gordon near the line of scrimmage, but it's never that easy.
And this is one of their base plays. They're just changing up the formation so much. This is great effort by Melvin. Maybe the ball should be in the outside arm and not so close to the defenders. I was surprised he was tripped up. You know, we talk about the run game. You know, ground and pound and ground. Andy Ludwig, offensive coordinator, is using so many different formations. It's hard for Minnesota to get a handle on the run game. Here they go stemming again.
From the 6, 1st and goal. Gordon breaks another tackle, and Gordon driven down near the 5. Travis combining with Thompson to make the stop. No gain on the play. It'll be 2nd and goal.
I wouldn't be surprised if Tanner McAvoy is going to be some part of the rest of this series, because one of the best things you can do in this part of the field is run the option. You gain a blocker, you're optioning somebody, and you've got a quarterback and a tailback who both can run.
Is it too simplistic to say that McAvoy, when he comes in, adds the element that Leitner provides all game long for Minnesota?
No, I think it's exactly right. It's very accurate. It's not too simplistic.
2nd and goal at the 6-yard line. Here's Melvin Gordon again. Gordon met and driven down at the 5-yard line. A gain of 1 on the play. Cameron Botticelli with the tackles. We check in with Howard Griffin.
Yeah, you know, this Minnesota Golden Gopher defense is really doing a good job of setting the edge, not allowing the offensive tackles and the tight ends from the Badgers to set that edge, allowing Gordon to get outside. Let's keep an eye on him, though. He's taking a pounding out here today.
Yeah, 3rd and goal. This is a really difficult situation for an offense that's built like Wisconsin. This isn't the best situation to be in with an I-back attack.
Arneson in motion on 3rd and goal at the 5. Stabu sets, throws it incomplete. Well covered in the end zone was Sam Arneson. There were 4 Gophers in the vicinity, and now 4th down, and the field goal unit comes on for Wisconsin.
You know, to Howard's point, this Minnesota defense has been doing this all year. Again, it's very well coverage. A bad situation for this style of offense, 3rd and 6 in this part of the field. Very, very difficult.
Gaglianone on for a short field goal. This one, 24 yards. And the kick is good. So Wisconsin gets on the board, but Minnesota's defense stiffens inside the 10-yard line, holds Wisconsin to just 3. Midway through the 1st, Minnesota by 4.
Two programs have been in. I mean, I go back to the West Division. These two aren't going to slow down. And we may be looking at the future powers of the Western Division.
Myrick and May back deep for Minnesota. It'll be Myrick backed into the end zone, and he'll take the knee for the touchback. Check in downstairs with Lisa Byington, an update on the Minnesota sideline.
Yeah, Kevin, I've been watching David Cobb on the sideline. He's not acting like a running back who's been battling with a hamstring injury at all. In fact, the entire athletic training staff has been leaving him alone. The only person who came up to him was head coach Jerry Kill. He keeps asking him, "Are you okay?" And he says, "Yeah, coach, I'm fine." I talked to Jerry Kill in the pregame. I said, "What did you need to see from him to make you feel confident he'd be good to go?" He said, "On Friday, I told him I need to see you open up," meaning explosion plays, and he saw enough of that on Friday to maybe change his mind to get him to start today.
Well, he's certainly a talent, 8th in the nation in rushing yards, and they'd love to have him explode with one of those big plays here. There's a good drive by Cobb. Once he felt initial contact, pushed that pile a couple of yards to nudge the football across the 30-yard line before Arthur Goldberg could bring him down.
That's a really good sign for Minnesota and Cobb, because until you play the game, you know, to extend what Lisa said, until you play the game, you really don't know how good a hamstring can be.
2nd down and 4 for Minnesota. 7-3 lead for the Gophers. If you joined us late, Gophers scoring after a fumbled punt. A couple of plays later, Mitch Leitner taking it in. Cobb again trying the middle, and this time not much there. Warren Herring on the tackle. And this was before the game, the warm-ups. We were watching very closely what David Cobb was going to be able to do once he got out on the field. And some of the stuff that he did pre-game to get ready to play in this game.
I told you can do pre-game, but until he's in the huddle and in the game, and as you say, pushing off, you really don't know if he's full speed.
He tweeted after he got injured in that Nebraska game a week ago not to worry, that he'd be back. He is back. We'll see just how effective he can be as Leitner steps through a Caputo tackle, and he's got the 1st down at the 41-yard line. Mitch Leidner had Caputo right on his right hip, stepped over him and got the first.
You know, you can say that's a perfect series that you'd want to be in Minnesota. Here's the decide play, but it was set up by the 1st and 10 play that gained 4 yards. If you're Minnesota, you want to be 1st and 10 and 2nd and 6 or less, and that's exactly what we just watched. It was 1st and 10, 2nd and 6, 3rd and 3. They'll do that all the way down the field if you let them.
69.5% of the time, Minnesota's running the football. That's the largest percentage in the Big Ten Conference. They're going to go to the air here, though, as Leidner going up top looking for K.J. May, who cannot grab it at the 25-yard line.
Man coverage. I mean, this is one of the things that has changed in college football. Everyone's stacking the box, and instead of playing zone behind it, as they used to, now they're playing man coverage, and that's exactly what we just saw.
Sojourn Shelton out there, manning up on K.J. May. Now 2nd down and 10 at the 41-yard line. You don't mind, though, the deep shot like that when you've got the running game that Minnesota or Wisconsin does.
You have to take the deep shot if you're Minnesota's offense. That's an explosive part of your pass game that keeps the run game into the game.
2nd and 10 at the 41-yard line. Here's Cobb again, trying to be patient and find a hole down to the 43-yard line. Caputo came up to help out once again on the tackle. Also Marcus Trotter down there. Now this defense, Melvin Gordon gets a lot of the headlines. This defense certainly deserves any accolades that come its way.
This defense had to replace its front 7. And Dave Aranda, after the LSU loss, Dave Aranda said, we have too much defense in. Let's cut it back. Let's teach some more and make it simpler. It was one of the major decisions in Wisconsin's success this year.
When you sit and talk with Dave Aranda, it's like sitting in a coaching clinic.
Or a chemistry class.
One of the two. 3rd and 8, Caputo coming with pressure as the pass is deflected and incomplete. Joe Schobert got a mid on it and deflected away. And now 4th down, and the Minnesota Golden Gophers will have to punt it away.
Schobert is one of the key guys in this. You'll see him. He's going to tip the ball here. He can rush the passer. He can drop the passer. He can play in a 2-point stance. He can play in a 3-point stance. It's all part of Dave Aranda's defensive scheme. You never know where the pressure is going to come.
Now remember, the last time we saw this pairing, the punter and Kenzel Doe, it was a fumble. Doe will call for the fair catch this time and make it at the 11-yard line. Wisconsin starting deep in their own end, down 4. Yeah, that's what's up for grabs. Paul Bunyan's axe and a trip to Indy. On BTN, our partner Jerry DiNardo, of course, will be there. Howard Griffith will be there. Big week. Now, which team will be there? We don't know. Wisconsin or Minnesota. We know Ohio State is waiting. At the 11-yard line is where Wisconsin begins this possession, down 7-3 as Melvin Gordon trying to get to the outside, and he succeeds. A flag is down as Gordon is out of bounds just shy of the 20-yard line. Eric Murray on the tackle, that flag thrown right in the middle of the offensive line.
It usually means holding. You know, and Howard told us how good a job Minnesota was doing setting the edge. That was one of the times they didn't set the edge, and you can see the result.
Holding, offense number 46. Half the distance penalty. Repeat, 1st down.
Tight end Austin Traylor with the hold.
And that may be why they couldn't set the edge. That may have been who was held. Yeah, let's take a look at it. Yep, right there. Yep, there's the hold, and that's why they lost the edge. That's why Minnesota lost the edge. So if they're going to set the edge, now Wisconsin's got to be inside the tackles because they can't get outside.
1st and 15 back at the 6-yard line after the penalty. Melvin Gordon caught in the backfield and dropped. First contact came from Cameron Botticelli and then finished off by Daniro Laster.
Botticelli penetrates when you're defending the I formation. Now watch him here. He penetrates the line of scrimmage. There's a rule in defensive football. If you're playing an I formation team, penetrate the line of scrimmage and make the back cut back to the help.
Let's check in downstairs with Howard Griffith.
Yeah, the Badgers are going to have a tough time if they keep these tight formations because Minnesota's bringing that extra safety down into the box. It's very difficult for them to run against that look.
2nd down and 17. Doe in motion. Melvin Gordon slipped as he made his cut. and he's down at the 5-yard line. Just a 1-yard pickup. Devondre Campbell there to cover him up in a situation that neither of these offenses are very comfortable in right now. 3rd and awfully long.
Right, and this is where Gary Anderson's probably organized this thing. So let's try to get it, but let's not put ourselves at risk. If we have to punt the ball, we punt the ball. But let's not put Joel in a position where we give the ball up to the defense, because if you give it up to Minnesota, they usually beat you.
3rd down and 16 at the 5. Motion out from Jordan Frederick. Stavi with time, looking deep for Fumagalli, his tight end, and the pass a little too deep. Coverage out there from Cedric Thompson. Good protection, but incomplete and 4th down.
Very good protection, and Thompson was stride with the receiver. Here, take a look at it here. That is very well done. That's very good coverage by Thompson.
So now 4th down, and Drew Meyer will be punting deep in his own end zone. And should be excellent field position for Minnesota. Craig James at the Wisconsin 45, awaiting the punt from Drew Meyer. And remember, Wisconsin's had some ups and downs in the punt game this year. And a very short punt. Picked up at the 40 by James. Good coverage from Wisconsin. James still on his feet. And James gets an extra yard or two to the 39-yard line. A 36-yard punt for Drew Meyer. And Minnesota set up in wonderful shape with 2:05 to go in the first.
Wonderful shape. Now, Jerry Kill could be saying, let's go, let's take 4 downs to get it. Let's take a shot on 1st and 10. There you see the punt. Bad punt. They get a little bit of a good bounce, Wisconsin does, and the coverage is very good. But now the advantage goes to Minnesota. Let's take a shot. If it's incomplete, it'll be 2nd and 10, but we'll take the next 3 downs to get it. We won't do anything on 4th down, but go for it if the down and distance is reasonable.
Cobb will start this possession next to Leidner. And Cobb breaks a tackle. Cobb into the open field. Great Cobb! Cobb inside the 5, touchdown! There's the explosiveness of David Cobb. He give Minnesota the 13-3 lead. He's broken the Gophers' single-season rushing record. Santoso on for the extra point, and the kick is good.
Okay, so Wisconsin brings a safety blitz, so there's no one to front up the ball. So once Cobb breaks the linebacker, there's no 3rd level to the defense. David Cobb, watch this. He hits it in stride. The safety's not there to front up. He's a mover. He's a mover. They're not going to catch him. 6 for Minnesota.
Glenn Mason was the head coach when Lawrence Maroney set that record. He had a lot of good running games in his coaching career. And now David Cobb stands alone atop the Minnesota list. Biggest season of all time on the ground for the Gopher running back. And a 40-yard touchdown puts Minnesota up 14-3. Here's Kenzel Doe. Doe with a flag down. He's down near the 25-yard line. We'll find out about this penalty flag during the return. And the conversation with Dave Whitvote.
Dave and I have had some conversations in the past.
Are they as friendly as that one appeared to be?
They're pretty friendly.
During the return, holding, returning team number 21. 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
Peniel Jean called for the hold. Let's go back to the Cobb touchdown. Why did this work?
Okay, Michael Caputo, number 7. You're going to see him on the right side of your screen. He's going to come in. Watch him. Now, the line slants away from Caputo. Now, Caputo ordinarily would be right there to front the ball carrier. So this is the downside of pressure. There's obviously upsides and downsides of every call offensively and defensively. That call with Caputo has worked for Dave Aranda's defense more times than it has not worked.
Does that run answer the questions people had about David Cobb?
That run does, no question. But you wouldn't know because he had to be going full speed there.
From the 15-yard line, Tanner McAvoy starts this series at quarterback, and on 1st down, McAvoy on the keep. And Tanner McAvoy picks up 3 to the 18-yard line as we check back in with our studio for a Slim Jim studio update.
Well, Kevin, C.J. Brown has it rolling in College Park, finding Amba Edatawa 71 yards on the touchdown hookup to put the Terps up 14-3. Rutgers has answered. Gary Nova to Leonte Carew. It's 14-10.
All right, Rick, thank you very much. 14-3 here, Minnesota on top.
Howard mentioned before the series that Wisconsin had to break the formation. They chose to do it with Tanner McAvoy and get some option involved.
Stave now in at quarterback on 2nd down and 7. Melvin Gordon, very patient, and Gordon, when he saw that it was over, just falls forward to pick up a couple of extra yards. What a smart running back.
Smart running back and smart play call. Why? Because Minnesota is setting the edge, and so if you can't get outside of him, you've got to go inside him. So this is going to be a guessing game with Andy Ludwig, the offensive coordinator, and Coach Clay's the defensive coordinator for Minnesota.
So now 3rd down and 3. Gordon on the sideline right now. Watt in the backfield. And Tanner McAvoy on the keep, and McAvoy's not going to go anywhere. Cameron Botticelli shut the door once more.
Again, it was pretty predictable. It's 3rd and 3. Tanner McAvoy is in the game. They line up in a spread formation, and they run this play. Okay, it's the fake reverse with the flanker, and then Tanner runs through his reverse. It was a little predictable. Next time they're in that situation, I wouldn't be surprised if they run the same action, Kevin, and throw the ball.
Timeout is taken by Minnesota. Football 2014, Wednesday at 7 Eastern on BTN. Among other things, a feature on Max Williams, Minnesota's tight end, be featured on the journey this week. Look forward to that one. Meyer to punt. James at the 37-yard line. Again, excellent coverage by Wisconsin. Here comes a flag in at the end of the play. Did they grab the face mask of James as he tried to get out to that left side?
If they did, they keep giving Minnesota exactly what they want, field position. The Wisconsin offense can't get a couple first downs. Let's see if it's a face mask. Yep, sure is. That's 15. And that nullified the good punt and the good coverage.
Leo Musso, the sophomore from Wisconsin.
During the return, personal foul, grasping the face mask. 19, kicking team. 15-yard penalty, first down.
Gary Anderson not pleased right now. His team at the end of one quarter down 14-3. Don't forget, however, this Badger team was down 17-3 to Nebraska at home. We all know how that one turned out. A big win for the Badgers. Gophers with the first quarter 14-3 lead. 14-3 Minnesota with the lead. I would say at the start of the second quarter, but they are going to run an untimed play with the penalty occurring at the end of the first quarter on Wisconsin. So there will be an untimed play to officially mark the end of the first quarter. And that's David Cobb with the carry. And Cobb with some good balance. Figaro on the tackle at the Wisconsin 46-yard line. And now they'll switch sides, and it'll be the start of the second quarter. Still 14-3 Minnesota as we check in downstairs with Lisa Byington.
Well, Kevin, David Cobb has a big fan who's watching, and that is Minnesota great Lawrence Maroney. And I actually just texted Lawrence Maroney when David Cobb broke his record, and this is his response hot off the press. He said, I am watching, and I want to tell him, hey, nice way to read your block and break the tackle for the touchdown. Congrats on breaking my single-season rushing record. How about that, Kevin? Hot off the press.
Hot off the press. Breaking news from Lisa Byington. I would expect nothing less from Lisa on the sideline, and you wouldn't expect anything less from Lawrence Maroney as well. But has to be excited. His record was a great record, stood for almost a decade, but David Cobb has been a special story indeed the last couple of years for Minnesota. A guy who came really from nowhere to become the best running back in any season of Minnesota football.
And he's been durable. I mean, today was questionable, but even coming back from injury, he's been durable.
2,600 yards plus last year and this year combined for David Cobb. And Cobb to carry again. Slips through a tackle. Nice cut. Driven down by Figaro. But a first down at the 38-yard line. Caputo also there on the stop. But David Cobb feeling pretty good right now as he gets another first down.
Yeah, I'd say the one thing that's happening now is the Minnesota offensive line is taking over the line of scrimmage. Remember, there's only 3 down linemen in the 30 scheme, and there's 2 bubbles, meaning there's 2 uncovered offensive linemen, usually the guards. And Minnesota is taking over the line of scrimmage when they are on offense.
At the 38-yard line of Wisconsin on first down. Leidner on the keep, and Leidner, or rather he gave it to Cobb, and Cobb able to fight through. Great fake by Leidner as we check in downstairs with Howard Griffith.
You know, when we talk about Cobb and his ability to run the football, keep this in mind. The majority of his yards come inside the tackle. This isn't a team that likes to run the sweep. They stay inside the tackle, and he's very patient with what he does, getting behind his pads and moving the chains.
Hey, Howard, who's winning the battle at the line of scrimmage right now?
Well, it's no question about it. The Gophers are controlling the line of scrimmage, both lines, offense and defense right now.
2nd and 6 at the 34. Donnell Kirkwood in now as Leidner will go to the air. And he airs it too tall for Donovan Jones, and that'll bring up 3rd down.
Minnesota has not completed the pass yet, but they're getting explosion out of Cobb and on the 40-yard run for a touchdown. On the other hand, Wisconsin's had no explosion when they have the ball. But this field position game that Jerry Kill is playing is absolutely perfect for them to be in position to win this game.
They're close to Ryan Santoso field goal range. As long this year's 52, the redshirt freshman. It's close with the wind. Maybe still they need a few more yards.
And Jerry Kill may have already made a decision to go for it on 4th down. We'll have to see by the 3rd down play selection.
3rd down and 6. Leidner off the play fake. First reception of the day. May with a lot of yardage. Inside the 20, and KJ May down to the 15-yard line before Joe Schobert can catch up.
Minnesota put Wisconsin's defense out in space, and it absolutely worked. Let's take a look at it. Nice pass by Leidner, gives his receiver a little bit of a problem after running with the catch. Mays does a great job, cuts back inside. That's as big a play as we've seen Minnesota make today.
First pass completion. Leidner finds May, and now a first down at the 15-yard line. Up the middle, straining for yardage, and down inside the 12-yard line. Just a 3-yard pickup on the play, but it keeps the drive progressing forward. Kirkwood with those 3 yards, and Obashi and Landish combine on the stop.
And this is an offensive play caller's dream. It's 1st and 10 from the 15, so it's not a goal-and-goal situation. So it changes your play selection. You can be a little bit more freewheeling here because you're going to get another set of downs as soon as you get to the 5-yard line.
Thomas and Kirkwood in the backfield with Leidner. 2nd down and 7 at the 12. Kirkwood again, and Kirkwood stood up at the 10-yard line. Marcus Trotter again with a big tackle for Wisconsin, and now 3rd down, 5 for the first, 10 for the end zone.
Okay, so your play selection is Matt Limegrove, the offensive coordinator, is on the headsets with Jerry Kill, and Jerry Kill saying, all right, Matt, let's try to get it in 2 downs, or let's try to throw it in the end zone. If it's incomplete, we'll kick a field goal. So they've made a decision whether this is for a touchdown or to go for a first down and have a goal-to-goal situation.
2 for 4 today on 3rd down. Kirkwood in the backfield. Max Williams, the tight end, on the right side of the line. 3rd down and 5. Play action. Leidner under pressure. Gets away. Leidner straining. He's got the first down to the 4-yard line before Arthur Goldberg can make the stop. The pressure came from Warren Herring, but Leidner showing his elusiveness.
Great play by Leidner.
And a flag down right in the middle of that play at the 7-yard line.
Personal foul, hands to the face, offense number 58. 15-yard penalty, repeat 3rd down.
Tommy Olson with the penalty, and what a game changer that flag becomes.
This is a very unusual penalty. They've called it more this year than I ever remember. Right there you see him. It had to be before that. It had to be as he was setting. Most of the time an offensive lineman gets called for that, it's while he's pass setting and his hands go into the defensive lineman's face mask.
What a change. Wisconsin moving him back to the 22-yard line after the penalty. Watch it again. We're not sure it wasn't right there at the end as he's driving down Joe Schobert.
I'm not so sure about that. I don't know how you can avoid that.
Third down and 17 at the 22.
Probably into the end zone and kick a field goal if it's incomplete.
Kirkwood will just carry up the middle, and Kirkwood down with a yard gain to the 21. Joe Schobert and Chikwe Obashi on the tackle for Wisconsin.
And what really hurt Minnesota, that would have been a 1st and goal from inside the 5. That's another offensive coordinator's dream situation. And instead, I mean, they get backed up, and now they're going to try for the 3 points.
And not a chip shot field goal as it would have been down there either. This one from 38 yards for Ryan Santoso. He's missed 4 out of his last 6. This could be a huge momentum swing. The snap is down. The kick by Santoso just sneaks in. And the Gophers do get 3 to extend the lead to 17-3.
And Jerry Kill was thinking about Santoso on the 3rd down play. You know, he knew it wasn't a slam dunk, so he moved the ball right in the middle of the field to help out Santoso.
Santoso, the freshman, able to drill it through, and the Gophers lead 2 touchdowns.
He's done an incredible job everywhere. I say his Minnesota work is his best work so far.
First time since 2002-2003 that Minnesota's had back-to-back 8-win seasons. Here's Kenzel Doe from the 5. Doe looking for some running room. Doe with some running room on the sidelines and out of bounds at the 26-yard line. Back to Rick Pizzo in our Chicago studio for a Slim Jim studio update.
Well, Kevin, Maryland in search of an 8-win regular season, and things look good for the Terps. Brandon Ross in from 40 yards out, his 2nd rushing touchdown of the day. Terps over the Scarlet Knights, 28-10.
Maryland getting it done out there. Very solid season in their debut year. Now let's talk Wisconsin, Jerry DiNardo. What do they need to do to get the offense going down by 2 touchdowns?
Here's their 2 longest plays. Gordon for 23 yards and a 14-yard completion. They need explosive plays.
26-yard line on 1st down. Play action. Stopping. Thrown on the run, and a diving attempt by Erickson, but it's incomplete. And it's 2nd down. Coverage from Travis.
Okay, so that's one way to get an explosive play. The other way is Tanner McAvoy and now make Minnesota defend the quarterback run and the tailback run. But with Joel in the game, that's exactly what they have to keep doing. They can't give up on it. You can't play Minnesota in a box the entire game.
Bit of a tendency breaker on that. That was the first throw on 1st down today for Wisconsin.
Absolutely.
2nd down and 10 at the 26-yard line. Here's Doe in motion. Melvin Gordon the carry. Breaks a tackle. Melvin Gordon into the secondary and caught by Eric Murray 2 yards shy of the 1st down.
One of their base plays at Wisconsin, the fly sweep to distract the linebackers, and right as the fly sweep goes past the quarterback, the ball snapped, and they give it to one of the best players in the country between the tackles. Vintage Wisconsin offense.
Talking with the coaches this week, both sides talking about the motion of the other offense, calling it eye candy. A lot of that's just eye candy back there.
And misdirection and hard to defend. Otherwise, they wouldn't have mentioned it to us.
Exactly. 3rd down and a short 3 for Wisconsin. Here's Gordon. Gordon tripped up and short of the 1st down. Cameron Botticelli, whose name has been called seemingly on every big stop today for Minnesota's defense.
It's the style of play. It's Tracy Clay's defensive coordinator of Minnesota moving him around. Let's see him again. Once again, he penetrates the line of scrimmage. He has pad level. Low man wins every single time. You get underneath the offensive lineman's pads, and you are going to be in the offense's backfield.
Botticelli originally committed to Wisconsin as a walk-on. Changed his mind, went on, walked on at Minnesota. Well, they're thrilled to have him. The line drive punt caught by James. And James able to fight forward to the 43-yard line. The punt game again hurting Wisconsin. Minnesota with excellent. We're going to be a big story.
Yeah, JT's had a great year, but, you know, Ohio State's going to have to answer the call if they want to continue into the playoff conversations.
Cobb now the single setback as Minnesota goes to work on 1st down. Cobb the carry. And Cobb met and dropped. A yard is all to the 43-yard line. Not much push as Cobb brought down again by Michael Caputo. And Howard Griffith with us on the sidelines. And Howard, every single time it seems Caputo is coming up and filling from that safety spot. What's the answer for Minnesota to deal with Caputo?
Oh, well, they're going to have to try to throw it over the top or actually get Max Williams involved in the game as far as some of the pass routes, maybe a corner route down the field.
Yeah, I think Max Williams is the answer, Howard. It looks like they're setting that up with all the run game. Next time they throw play action, it's probably going to be to Williams.
2nd and 9. Trying to sweep with Isaac Frichte and nowhere to go. There's Ruben Figaro in the backfield to throw off that play down at the 41-yard line. Excellent defensive work again by the Badgers.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, this is a critical 3rd down. Here, let's look at this 2nd down play. Linebacker shooting the gap. That's part of the scheme as well. But this situation, when you think about field position, Minnesota has averaged the 50-yard line in field position. Wisconsin has averaged the 19-yard line. This is a critical point in changing the field position if Wisconsin can hold Minnesota on this 3rd down.
Minnesota with a great punter in Peter Mortel, the top punter as far as average goes in the Big Ten Conference this year. But 3rd and 11 at the 41. Leidner to the air looking for his intended receiver Jones at the 45-yard line. The pass incomplete. Diving for it was Darius Hillary at the end, who thought he had a shot at the pick. Instead, it'll be a punt for Minnesota.
Yeah, and you're going to see Jones slip here. It's the first time I've seen anyone lose their footing. The ball's overthrown, and Leidner's just got to step into the throw much more. You know, that ball could be slipped, too. It sure looked like it slipped out of Leidner's hands.
Golden on the tip, and now the punt for Mortel. Rising punt sails down to the 8 and into the end zone for the touchback. Decent starting field position, although pretty close to where Wisconsin has always started, it seems, today at the 20-yard line. 59-yard punt at a time. 6 hours of community service, and this is something Gary Anderson really stresses.
He has. He has split the team up into pods, and part of the pods group is to do community service. It's a great idea. It includes the entire athletic department.
That little guy, they're not quite sure what's happening with Rob Havenstein holding him at 6'8", 330-plus pounds. 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line for Wisconsin. Melvin Gordon caught from behind and driven down by Steven Richardson. This is feels like a critical moment in this first half for this Wisconsin offense to get something going.
I'm very shocked that they didn't go to Tanner McAvoy. They need to break the formation. They need some explosion. And he's on his way in. Yeah, I was surprised they didn't do it on 1st down. I mean, this is the logical call for Andy Ludwig, offensive coordinator. They've got to get Minnesota outside the box, and they've got to threaten the depth of the field with something other than Melvin Gordon.
Gordon has left as well. Old man in the backfield along with Watt, Tanner McAvoy. Motion coming across from Doe, and McAvoy on the keep. Nowhere to go. Clogged up from the word go as Damian Wilson makes the stop at the 22. It'll be a loss of 1.
Okay, now it doesn't just look like Minnesota's controlled the line of scrimmage. It looks like Minnesota's calling a more aggressive game. They shot the linebackers through here. Look at this. Once they read that it's the option and McAvoy's in the game, so they're alerted to it, they're taking the gaps. So it's not just the line. They're also getting more aggressive with the play calls on both sides of the ball.
Joel Stavy back in now at quarterback for Wisconsin. On 3rd down and 8 at the 22-yard line, Melvin Gordon returns as well. Wisconsin just 1 for 5 on 3rd down today. 3rd and 8. Stavy facing a 4-man rush. Wide open is Erickson down the sideline. Alex Erickson with a cut. Erickson inside the 10. 1st and goal, Badgers. The big play through the air. Stavy to Erickson for 70 yards.
Okay, it's an aggressive call by the defense. Here's Erickson. He makes an outside nod. It's a perfectly thrown pass. This is exactly what Wisconsin needed. They needed a spark. They haven't had any sparks on offense or defense.
1st and goal at the 8 after that 70-yard completion. Melvin Gordon Gordon down to the 5-yard line. They were trying to rip it out of his hands. He hung on to the 4.
I thought Melvin, I'd be interested in Howard's opinion, I thought Melvin was going to plant on his right foot and cut that thing back. He usually does that, and it looks like there was an opening there.
Howard, what'd you see from your vantage point?
Definitely, he's pressing the front side, but the problem is they're so active up front, and I'm talking about the Gophers right now. That's really what slows down a zone blocking scheme.
2nd and goal for Wisconsin. Play action. Stabby for the end zone, deflected away and incomplete. Brian Body Calhoun with the deflection as he tried to find Troy Fumagalli.
Good call. You know, but again, there's an upside to it and a downside. Now, this is the downside here. Very good fake. Very good fake. Joel Stabby setting his feet, looking for a window. There was nobody open, but the protection was good. You have to take some shots like that. This isn't a great situation for a Wisconsin-style offense. 3rd and goal from your own 4, or from the opponent's 4, rather.
Motion from Fumagalli. On 3rd down, Stabby gonna have to throw for the end zone. Gordon's got it. Touchdown! Wisconsin right back in it.
Okay, looks like he might be looking for Melvin Gordon. He does a great job. Stabby does, shuffling his feet. Ooh, he was going for Gordon. That was really well done. He had his eyes on him the entire time.
Erickson also right behind the play.
That's twice that's happened tonight.
And the extra point is good. Melvin Gordon not getting in on the ground, but getting in through the air as Joel Stabby does the work on that drive for the Wisconsin Badgers. First on the long pass of 70 yards to Alex Erickson. And then a couple of plays later, Stabby back to the air once more. This time finds Melvin Gordon. And the Badgers down just 7 thanks to Joel Stabby through the air. 70-yard pass was the long pass play of the season for Wisconsin. A career long for Joel Stabby, and then he found Melvin Gordon in the end zone for his 7th touchdown pass of the year. And now the Badgers will kick things off. Jalen Myrick back deep along with KJ May, and May in the end zone is going to take a knee for the touchback. Let's go back one more time to that Badger touchdown, and Coach, tell us what happened here.
This is the touchdown play. This wasn't the big play, but Joel Stabby does a great job resetting his feet. He's looking clearly for Melvin from the beginning of the play. If Joel doesn't readjust his feet, he never gets the ball to Melvin Gordon.
Melvin Gordon on the receiving end. 28th touchdown this year, 25 on the ground and 3 through the air. And now Minnesota starting at the 25-yard line. When most of the day they've had great field position. Here's Cobb on 1st down with a hole. And Cobb out to the 30-yard line before Marcus Trotter can make the stop, a 5-yard gain on 1st down.
Minnesota did a great job getting up to the 2nd level to the linebackers. The Wisconsin front was fine. They held point, and the linebackers couldn't get to that gap that Cobb took. So the offensive lineman bounced up to the 2nd level and blocked the linebacker. Perfect situation for Minnesota, right? 2nd and 5. We'll take it all day.
On 2nd down, 75 yards already for David Cobb in this 1st half, and he gets the carry again. And Cobb straining to get a couple out near the 32-yard line, and it leaves a 3rd and a long 3, Jerry DiNardo, for the 1st down.
It'll be interesting to see the formation. Once we see the formation, it'll give us exactly an idea of what Minnesota's offense is thinking. Are they going to try play action? Are they going to try pocket? This obviously isn't the strength of the Minnesota offense, but it is the strength of the Wisconsin defense. I I'd expect Dave Aranda, defensive coordinator of Wisconsin, to bring at least 5 on this play.
You feel like we've had a momentum shift here?
The last 2 offensive series for Minnesota have been very conservative. And so when Wisconsin got the big pass play, they started the momentum. If Wisconsin holds Minnesota this series, they'll have all of the momentum.
Gophers are going to take a timeout.
I'll be shocked if he plays it straight. I'd expect him to bring a safety or a linebacker or maybe 2 linebackers.
It's a long 3 yards. The ball shy of the 32-yard line. They need the 35 for the first.
Certainly a play-action pass formation.
Max Williams, who's been quiet today, goes in motion. Play action. Widener on the run, throws, and it should have been intercepted in and out of the hands of Darius Hillary with a flag down at the 45-yard line.
Well, if this goes against Wisconsin, it'll be critical. It's one of the 3 or 4 most critical plays of the first half.
Holding defense number 5. 10-yard penalty. Automatic. First down.
Boy, you go from nearly a pick 6 to the other way, a defensive hold and an automatic first down.
Yeah, and if you watch Mitch Leidner throw that ball, he threw it off his back foot, and he had no acceleration on the ball, no velocity, and that's really why it was picked. But you talk about a mistake by the Wisconsin defense. It's underthrown. There's no zip on the ball because Mitch was leaning back when he threw it.
Hillary had a hold of Isaac Frichte, and now a first down.
Okay, so by formation now, the mindset has changed of the Minnesota offensive staff, right? They broke the formation. There's 3:11 left in the game. It's first down. Now they're not going to play a conservative.
On first down, here's Cobb again. And another good first down run for Cobb out near the 49-yard line before Marcus Trotter can make the stop. That's nearly an 8-yard gain on first down for Cobb.
Again, when you stay on schedule, meaning you gain 4 or more yards on 1st and 10 and you're a run offense, you are controlling the game. I thought the formation told Wisconsin pass, but it was a run. It was a great call by offensive coordinator Matt Linegold.
Still go with those 3 wide receivers that are going to line up to the top of your screen on 2nd down and 2. And Cobb pounding the middle and has the first down near the 48 of Wisconsin. So formation, 3 receivers, run up the middle. Coming up, our Buffalo Wild Wings halftime report. Lots of rivalry games to talk about today, and we'll have a full report on everything that's gone. We've had some great football today in the Big Ten Conference, and the whole rundown coming up on our Buffalo Wild Wings halftime report.
Always great football this weekend. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if they came out in the same formation, but this time they do take a shot downfield. All right, so it's an open formation. Might be a play action, faking the Cobb, throwing the ball downfield.
At the 48-yard line on first down, Leidner going to keep off the fake, and Leidner down to the 47-yard line. Derek Landish with the tackle.
I'm a little surprised. I'm a little surprised you're not being more aggressive offensively with the play calls with Minnesota. You know, if Wisconsin had scored that last touchdown, I could see this, but I thought they were going to try for some explosive plays.
Gophers just 1 timeout remaining. If you're thinking about end-of-half strategy here, a 17-10 lead, 2nd and 8 at the 47 of Wisconsin.
The way the game started, Wisconsin goes in 17-10. I think they'd be happy with that.
2nd and 8, play action. Now Leidner looking deep, over for Jones, and it's incomplete inside the Badger 10-yard line. Sojourn Shelton out there helping out on the coverage.
Yeah, Shelton had very good coverage. Of course, it was 2nd and long, right? It was one of the things that you had to defend. Here it comes. You see Shelton's going to cut it off a little bit. It was well done. Very well done. Good call. I would have rather it on 1st and 10.
All right, so now 3rd and 8 at the 47-yard line. This is not a comfortable call for Minnesota on offense.
If it's not there, Mitch, throw it away. We'll punt the ball. We'll go into halftime with a 7-point lead. Don't put our team or our offense in jeopardy.
3rd down and 8. Leidner to the air. He's got K.J. May, and he's got a first down. Shelton on the coverage. Well-run route by K.J. May. Took it right to the yard marker, and they'll mark him out of bounds inside the 39-yard line.
Great call, right? Low risk. If it wasn't there, he could have threw it out of bounds. It was a perfect play call and a perfect throw by Mitch Leidner.
Oh, big loss there. You see Josh Campion limping to the sideline. That's the left tackle who has started now in his 38th game.
Watch Mitch, steps into it, throws it where his guy can catch it, nobody else. If it was covered, he would have thrown it out of bounds. Perfect play call in perfect situation. Now they still have to be a little bit aggressive. You know, it's a minute 24. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if they get the option game back going.
You see Campion being helped to the sideline. That moves Ben Lauer, who has been rotating this year with Jonah Persick at right tackle. He goes in at left tackle now.
Most programs this time of year, they are rotating offensive linemen just because everyone's a little bit banged up. Open formation.
From the 38, first down, Leidner on the keep. Leidner driven back by Caputo, shy of the 36-yard line. 2-yard pickup for Mitch Leidner with the clock running a minute 14 and counting.
Yeah, this is, you know, this is a little conservative.
There's Lauer.
There's Lauer, right.
Made 4 starts in 13 games a year ago. Started some at left tackle, so he has experience at the position. But Campion, a guy who has been in the lineup at right tackle last year and moved over this year to the left side. They'd love to get him back.
Might be some pressure up top of the screen.
Here's Cobb, a little move to get free, and Cobb down at the 30-yard line. Nice run from David Cobb. Michael Caputo again on the tackle, and that's going to leave Minnesota with a 3rd down and a short 2 for the first with the clock running.
You have to move the chains. You have to move the chains, then throw it on 1st down in the end zone, and then reassess where you are. But they've got to move the chains.
15 carries, 96 yards for Cobb. Cobb fumbles the football. The handoff never got there, and Caputo recovers for Wisconsin.
When you run the option, at some point the ball has to be given to the tailback. If you've made the wrong read and you're too far into your footwork, give the ball to the tailback. All right, let's see it. Mitch is riding the ball. He can't pull it out at that point, because Cobb doesn't know whether he's getting it or whether Mitch is pulling it. So it's up to the quarterback. If the weight goes past your front leg as you're riding, right there, then it's got to be tailback's ball. Don't try to pull it, and that's what it looks like happened.
The fumble credited or charged to Leidner. And so now Wisconsin, with 18 seconds to go, down a touchdown, has it at their 31-yard line.
And we're even on turnovers. So now the turnover battle will start it up again second half unless something happens here.
On 1st down, Joel Stavi with good protection. Throws over the middle. Wide open is Erickson. Erickson inside the 35 and down to the 33-yard line. Cedric Thompson on the tackle. The strike from Stavi to Erickson. And a timeout used with 10 seconds left first half.
Great clock management by Gary Anderson, right? He was almost, he almost told the official or shook hands with the officials and said, give me a timeout. He has 3 left. You can't take him to the locker room. Here's the pass. This is one of the things Stave is doing so well today is resetting. He's finding a window. Minnesota's doing a good job, even with a 4-man rush, pressuring him. You can see him. He readjusts his feet. He's just looking for a little bit of a window. He's not a running quarterback. He's a guy who resets his feet and throws the ball downfield. Very well done.
Erickson with 2 catches for 105 yards today. Big plays from Alex Erickson, who came in with nearly 29% of the receiving yards for the Badgers this year. Campion on his way to the locker room. We'll get an update as soon as we have one. And if you're thinking about a field goal at the end of the first half, there's the kicker, the freshman Rafael Gagliardone, who is a young man with a 51-yarder this year. In high school in his senior year, kicked one 57 yards. So you're on the edge of his range right now, right at that target line.
Look for the out route to the offense's right.
Stavi to the edge, and Erickson out of bounds with a first down, just as predicted by Jerry DiNardo, out at the 20-yard line, and a first down with 5 seconds to go, and here comes the field goal unit.
The corner was lined up inside, so they were giving Wisconsin the out route, and Wisconsin took it. Very well executed. Here you can see it. You can't see the receiver, but that ball is placed perfectly because the corner was lined up inside of Erickson.
There's Gagliardone, the freshman from Brazil. He's hit 11 in a row, this one from 38 yards. And the kick, curving in and good. And that is how we end the first half, with Wisconsin grabbing momentum and taking it into the locker room down by just 4.
Unbelievable momentum switch. You think about Minnesota driving down and the whole thing turned around. Wisconsin goes into the locker room, fired up, and that's always a good thing.
Minnesota looked like they were in field goal range. Instead, Wisconsin gets it as we go downstairs. Lisa's standing by with Jerry Kill.
Well, Coach Kill, first of all, evaluate your defense as a whole here in the first half.
They're playing very well, you know, certainly against the run. We've given up some things throwing the football, and we got to be careful with that. And we had a miscommunication in a personnel situation. So, you know, we just got to clean a few things up, but we're doing a good job on the run.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it.
At half, Kevin Kugler alongside Jerry Denaro. Let's check in downstairs with Lisa Byington. Lisa?
Kevin, the first words out of Gary Anderson's mouth was no penalties and we'll be fine. And he also reiterated to me how confident he was with this football team. He said we were very businesslike and calm. No panic. We are going to stay the course. That's the impression that I got to watching the sideline. The group staying the course the most for this offense, this offensive line. Remember, offensive coordinator Andy Ludwig told us this offensive line has a culture unlike any other.
Yeah, he talked about being in that offensive line room was something he's never seen at any other stop in his career. Kenzel Doe in the end zone is going to take a knee for a touchback, and it's as experienced an offensive line as you're going to find in the Big Ten Conference. That makes the life for a quarterback very easy as we look at our Quicken Loans quarterback comparison. Mitch Leidner through the air and on the ground, not able to match what Joel Stave has done through the air. A lot of that late for Stave.
Late for Stave, and Leidner will have his opportunities because Minnesota needs to take some shots down the field off the play action, and Mitch has done it in previous games. So I'm not going to be surprised at all if Mitch catches up to Joel on the passing yardage.
30 minutes to determine who's going to Indianapolis to face Ohio State next week in the Big Ten championship game. Badgers from their own 25 on first down. Stave to the air again, and it's a little low for Alex Erickson. Second down.
Same route that they threw at the end of the half because the Minnesota corner is lining up inside the wide receiver of Wisconsin, so the out route is there. Stave just has to put it on, and that's the way Minnesota's been playing all day, inside out on man coverage on the wide out.
It's been successful, save the two big plays from Stave to Erickson. Minnesota's defense has done a very good job in limiting Melvin Gordon to this point, just 55 yards. Second down and 10, Doe the motion man. Here's Gordon. Melvin Gordon getting loose. Melvin Gordon with 9 to the 34.
Melvin did a great job cutting back, trying to see if they gave him a first down. It's 3rd and short. I mean, as even as this game is, are we surprised that the first drive's going to come down to 3rd and short? I mean, the line of scrimmage has been intense on both sides.
Both of these teams, the top two teams running the football percentage-wise in the Big Ten Conference. It's a huge part of their game, but today the pass game's been there for Wisconsin. On 3rd down and short, play action. Stave looking deep for Alex Erickson. And it's incomplete, and there's a flag. Eric Murray on the coverage on 3rd and 1. Stave airing it deep.
Really tough for a defensive back because the ball was underthrown. It would be interesting to see the replay because this is
Pass interference. Defense number 31. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
That's a tough position for a secondary guy to be in when an underthrown ball like that. It's hard to come back to it. You see him here. The ball's underthrown. He's got to turn a little bit sooner.
Eric Murray flagged for the pass interference.
Yeah, Eric's got to turn earlier.
And on 1st down at the 49-yard line, Melvin Gordon trying to spin away from Cedric Thompson, but Thompson hanging on at the 47-yard line, a loss on the play of 2. For Wisconsin in the first half, the offense cranking up late. You see the struggles in the middle of the first half, but then that touchdown and that big field goal at the end of the first half to vault Wisconsin right back into this ball game. Minnesota dominating through a quarter plus of that first half.
And Wisconsin only threw the ball 3 times on 1st down the entire first half. The second half, they opened up with a pass on 1st and 10.
2nd down and 12 after the loss of 2 on the run from Gordon. Stave again. Throws it short. There's Gordon. Backing up. Gordon in trouble. And a swarm of Gophers there to finish him off. Well defended again. Devondre Campbell, the first guy there to Melvin Gordon.
And then the acceleration of the rest of the Minnesota defense was incredibly impressive. Watch how they get around the ball. Campbell gets them started, and they just pursue. They keep the ball inside and in front, and here comes the rest of the defense. Really impressive by Minnesota's defense.
3rd down and 12 at the 47. Stavy, pressure from the backside. Stavy's in trouble and he's sacked. Michael Amefala, 2.5 sacks now on the year for the Gopher senior.
Amefala just comes around the left offensive tackle. It's a speed rush move. Watch him here. Watch, he'll get that left arm of his underneath the left arm of the offensive tackle. Just a great move by him. Great get off on the snap.
First sack of the day for either team. And it results in a Wisconsin punt. Drew Meyer with Craig James back deep for Minnesota. Meyer with good hang time. James at the 24. Hit immediately by Doe. The flag is thrown as the ball goes out of bounds. Doe got there a beat early as James tried to field that punt.
Good call. Yeah, you just have to be smarter than that when you're covering the punt. Very well done by Minnesota, catching the ball, keeping your poise.
Kenzel Doe hitting Craig James after the 40-yard punt. Dave Whitvote, our referee, will tell us exactly the ruling. That flag thrown in the middle of the field, then one dropped on the sideline for extra emphasis.
Kick catch interference, kicking team number 3. 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
Kick catch interference, the call. 15 yards added on at the end of this one as Doe a beat too early for James. And Minnesota with their first possession of the second half. To face Ohio State next week in the Big Ten Championship. Gophers with a 17-13 lead over the Badgers. Minnesota starting at their 38-yard line on 1st down. Here's Cobb on 1st down. Dancing to the outside and just tripped up at the 45 by Peniel Jean. Pretty good balance by Cobb at the end of that. Jean got him at the 42 and he just leaned forward with a hand down to get those extra yards.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say that we've seen David Cobb healthy enough.
I think so, yeah.
You really couldn't tell any difference from today's game than some of the previous games. He's done a great job getting back ready to play. 102
yards now for David Cobb. It is just the 7th individual 100-yard rusher allowed by a Wisconsin defense since 2012. 7th 100-yard game of the year for Cobb as he gets the carry again, breaking tackles, and Cobb down just shy of midfield. David Cobb and Melvin Gordon, 2 of the best in a very good conference for backs. And you see the numbers this year. Of course, Melvin Gordon having a record-breaking season, but David Cobb, not a shabby year by any stretch for Minnesota.
Yeah, and Cobb obviously is as important to Minnesota as Melvin is to Wisconsin, so they neutralize one another as far as the X and O part of the game.
Cobb on the sideline right now. Donnell Kirkwood in for Minnesota on 1st down at midfield. Motion from KJ May. Play action for Leidner. Leidner in some trouble, and Leidner spikes it as he's sacked by Vince Beagle. They'll say incomplete pass. Beagle had him, and Leidner spiked it just as he was going down out of the pocket.
Yeah, they made me think about throwing a flag here. I mean, I thought it was a good decision by Leidner.
Now there's the flag. Absolutely.
Yeah, he's in the grass. Maybe that's why they didn't throw it at first, and then they conferenced.
Intentional grounding, offense number 7. Lost it out, spot of the foul. 2nd down.
No question the intent was to avoid the sack. So they put it back at the 39-yard line. Big play from Vince Beagle, the sophomore.
Yeah, Beagle's an important part of the Wisconsin defense. Again, he plays that outside linebacker where he rushes some, he drops back some, he even gets in a 3-point stance with his hand on the ground sometimes. 2nd and 21. What do you have, Kevin?
I'm not sure. I don't have anything on this one. I'm not so sure they even needed to throw the flag on that last replay. Looked like Leidner's knee was down before he got rid of that football. Kirkwood pounding forward to the 42-yard line. A pickup of 3. Michael Caputo on the tackle. Now I'll throw that question back at you. 3rd and 18. What do you have?
Well, you're going to try to get half of it and then punt the ball, or you're going to try to get all of it, but you've got to be really careful with what your quarterback does with the ball.
Vince Biegel stayed down after that play, being tended to on the turf for Wisconsin. Biegel had 6.5 sacks coming into today, and that intentional grounding call looked like it took a sack away from Vince Biegel.
Yeah, you could see him. Again, Wisconsin's trying to time up the snap when they bring the outside backers and the safeties.
While they tend to Vince Biegel, let's check in Chicago for a Slim Jim studio update.
Done for the year with a fractured right ankle suffered in the Buckeyes win over Michigan. Barrett will have surgery on Sunday. Cardale Jones will be the starter for Ohio State next week's Big Ten title game.
Boy, the horrible news, obviously, for J.T. Barrett and for Ohio State. The good news in the big picture as far as playoff consideration is they've got a game to prove that they still belong as a top 4 team against one of these 2 teams next week. Of course, that all is contingent upon them winning that game.
And Ohio State's a spread team, so it's quarterback-centric, but they do have some other weapons, and that may wind up helping them quite a bit.
3rd down and 18 at the 42. It's Berkeley Edwards to the right of Leidner. Leidner, not much running room. Peniel Jean on the tackle with a flag down at the 41-yard line.
Personal foul, shot block, offense number 55 and 79. That penalty is declined. 4th down.
55 and 79. Lots of chop blocking.
Yeah, look at the right guard. Okay, if someone's engaged in the lower body, you can't come back and hit them. So there's someone low and someone high. I wouldn't say it was a vicious chop block, and I'm not sure it was by design, but by the letter of the law and the rules, that's a chop block. But I don't think it was intentional.
So now the Gophers will punt. Peter Mortel with Kenzel Doe back deep. Mortel, a line drive rocket, bouncing at the 1 and into the end zone for the touchback. No questioning the leg of Mortel. He has got a cannon, but Wisconsin coming out to the Coleman. Amir Abdullah. It's a lot of rushing yards between 3 running backs.
A lot of rushing yards, 3 great backs. Tevin Coleman probably one of the toughest jobs because of the quarterback situation at Indiana.
Melvin Gordon just 62 yards so far in this one. 1st down and 10 at the 20-yard line. Swing pass to Erickson. Erickson with a 1st down across the 30-yard line. Demarius Travis chasing him out of bounds at the 30.
So one of the adjustments Wisconsin made at halftime is throw it more in 1st and 10. They only threw it 3 times the entire 1st half. They have started both drives the 2nd half throwing the ball in 1st and 10. So that's their adjustment. That's how they're trying to get some explosion, trying to keep Minnesota a little bit off balance.
Erickson has been the recipient of most of that passing yardage today. That's 4 catches for Erickson for 129 yards. Doe in motion on 1st down from the 30-yard line. Melvin Gordon to carry and upended across the 35-yard line, flying forward to the 37. It was Travis along with Damian Wilson. Took the legs out from under Melvin Gordon.
Wilson's had a great year. He's their leading tackler. He's, I think, 2nd in the conference in total tackles. He has been one of the real bright spots on a defense that has a lot of bright spots this year for Minnesota.
6 games in double-figure tackles this year for Damian Wilson. 6 out of 11. Pretty good percentage for Damian Wilson. 2nd down and 3 for Wisconsin at the 37-yard line. Gordon again. Melvin Gordon, another 1st down to the 41-yard line. Needed 3 and he got 4 before Devondre Campbell was there to make the stop.
These last 3 or 4 plays of Wisconsin, this is what anyone who runs this type of offense, West Coast offense, pro formation, whatever you want to call it, you're mixing the play action in. They may do it again on this 1st and 10, and you're starting to get your tailback going. Expect Minnesota now to counter their action by bringing some more pressure and maybe running some linebackers through.
Tanner McAvoy in now with Gordon on the sidelines. McAvoy in, has Watt in the backfield with him. First down at the 41-yard line. Doe, the motion man. Kenzel Doe with the carry. Trying to get to the edge. And a great tackle by Cedric Thompson at the 35-yard line. That's a loss of 6 for Kenzel Doe. As we check in with Rick Pizzo again in studio on a Slim Jim studio update.
Kevin, Michigan State starting to seize control in State College. Jeremy Langford pounding it in from 3 yards out. Spartans over the Nittany Lions, 20-3.
Michigan State ending on a high note against Penn State. It would seem here a good ball game again. Gophers with the 4-point lead and a 2nd and 16 for Wisconsin. Fumagalli, the motion man, on 2nd down. Stabby over the middle, looking for his tight end, Arneson, and Arneson with the catch, fighting for extra yardage to the 49, and he leaves Wisconsin with a 3rd and 2.
Again, you just look at Joel Stabby, and he's just finding the window. Sometimes he has to move his feet a lot, sometimes he doesn't. And this one, it was pretty wide open for him. See him here? This is well done by Arneson. He pushes off with his right elbow off the linebacker to get separation so the quarterback can find him.
3rd down and 2 now at the 49-yard line. Gordon the carry. Gordon, the first down and more. Melvin Gordon into Gopher territory at the 43. Eric Murray on the stop.
You know, they may have said to Melvin at halftime, you know, you've had some cutback opportunities this the first half that you didn't take, and he usually takes them. Watch. He's going to plant and then cut it back. He's got great balance, obviously. But he's cutting it back more so far this half than he did the first half.
He bounced off of Pierre Cochran to get that extra yardage. 1st and 10 at the 43-yard line. Fumagalli in motion. Play action. Stabby with time going deep for Erickson for the end zone. The flag is thrown. Brian Body Calhoun down there on the coverage. And if he doesn't pull Erickson down, Alex Erickson was have a touchdown.
Right, so that was a good move. You know, the NFL rule is different. That's one of the reasons in the NFL the rule is different. So if you're going to get beat, this is the best thing to do.
Pass interference, defense number 29, 15-yard penalty, automatic 1st down.
It's a well-thrown deep ball by Joel Stabby here.
Well-thrown deep ball. It's actually in perfect position. Yeah, good call, but you know what? Good play. Good play by Minnesota. That was the best alternative.
So 1st down and 10 at the 28-yard line. 5th penalty against Minnesota. Corey Clement in for the first time today for the Badgers. And Clement with the carry. Clement with a hole. Nice cutback. Clement into the secondary. Clement inside the 5. Touchdown. Badgers take the lead. Legs off the Badger bench and 6 points on the board.
Fresh legs, no doubt, and they changed up the blocking scheme. They've been zone blocking. That was a gap scheme.
28-yard touchdown run for Clement. 44 yards rushing for that young man over the last 3 games until this carry. Corey Clement able to pop, cut, juke, and take it in for 6. And the Badgers on top, 20-17 in the West Division title game in Madison. Gerry DiNardo, Wisconsin with the lead. How'd they get that lead?
Well, I used a gap scheme, meaning most of the offensive line blocked away from where the ball was going. They want to cut the defense, and that is right what they do right there, Kevin. So most of the offensive linemen block to their right. They take a guard from their right side and bring them on left and cut the defense in half and give that seam to Corey Clement.
And then the rest of the job done by Clement, who takes it in for the touchdown. Last 3 games, 44 yards rushing. On his first carry tonight, 28-yard rushing touchdown. And a 20-17 lead for the Badgers. Short kickoff. And it's Hartman who's got his second kickoff return of the day. And Hartman down to the 23-yard line for Minnesota. Pushing and shoving, and a flag thrown at the end as a little scrum breaks out. About time we saw a little scrum in a rivalry game here. These two teams back and forth, and finally we see some pushing and shoving.
I can't believe you said that. No scrum's worth 15 yards.
Says the coach.
Well, says anybody who wants to move the ball away from the goal line that they're trying to get in. About time we've seen a scrum.
Absolutely. Fans are on the edge of their seat. Badger fans, Gopher fans, they don't like each other.
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Returning to number 20. Half the distance to the goal line. First down.
All right, now Gopher fans are less excited about that scrum than they were a moment ago.
You know, it was a short kick. Yeah, let's see what happens. Yeah, you have to stop at the whistle.
A little extracurricular activity there. So it'll back Minnesota up to the 12-yard line. .6:15 remaining in the third. Max Williams, the tight end in motion on first down. It's Cobb, and Cobb can't get away. No gain on the play for David Cobb. Marcus Trotter on the tackle.
You know, this is an example where neither team's doing anything different in this particular series, but it's momentum, it's emotion. That's what's governing the line of scrimmage right now, because both teams are basically running the same plays and the same defense, especially on that 1st and 10 play.
6 of the 8 drives for Minnesota previous to this one beyond their own 30-yard line. Their worst start of the day, the 12. 2nd and 10. Leidner off the play fake to the air, and coming back for it is Isaac Frichte, very close to a Minnesota first down. Darius Hillary on the coverage for the Badgers, and depending on the spot, it's going to be just short.
Yeah, Frichte did a great job coming back. Kept the defender on his back hip. Look at him come back here. That is really well done, and he turns his body to keep the ball from hitting the turf. That's a big-time play right there.
Just the second Gopher to catch a pass today. The other 2 receptions by K.J. May. Now a 3rd and 1 at the 21. Here's Cobb in trouble in the backfield. He won't get there. Penetration from Marcus Trotter, and it's 4th down.
Minnesota was penetrating the first half, and that's why Wisconsin was struggling running the ball. Now they've reversed roles, and Wisconsin's penetrating the line of scrimmage. So that was probably the defensive adjustment in the halftime by Wisconsin.
Howard Griffith is down there as well. Big change. Do you feel it from the sidelines, Howard?
Yeah, no question about it. When you talk about trying to raise the level of play, the Badgers have definitely done that, and right now the Gophers have not found a way to match that intensity.
Mortel on to punt. And a line drive punt. Doe calling for the fair catch, making it, backing up at the 32-yard line as we check in with Rick Pizzo in our Chicago studio for the Slim Jim Studio update.
Well, Kevin, Rutgers refusing to go quietly, down 35-10 at one point. Now Gary Nova to Leonte Carroo, second time that pair is hooked up. It's a 4-point game, 5 minutes to play in the third.
Wow, what a rally for Rutgers, and Rick will keep us up to date on that one throughout the night. Monday night, we unveil the football all-conference teams and announce various individual award winners. The BTN Live All-Conference Selection Special presented by Kay Jewelers, Monday at 6 Eastern, only on BTN. Movement up front, and it was Botticelli who flinched first, and coming over, Kyle Costigan reacting to the move of Botticelli. Our officiating crew trying to discern where this flag will go.
Offside, defense number 46. In the neutral zone, causing the offensive player to move. 5-yard penalty.
So it was Botticelli as we check in downstairs with Lisa Byington.
Kevin, the Wisconsin running back fraternity is a very special one and a very supportive one. After Corey Clement got that touchdown, Melvin Gordon, you're looking at him, he was one of the first ones to congratulate him on the sideline. He knows what it means to be a backup. He's had to wait his time behind a couple of guys, James White being one from last year. And he's told Corey Clement, he said, hey, you know what? Just wait your turn. Be patient. You don't know when that spotlight moment has come, and maybe it's come here from Mr. Clement.
Well, Corey Clement will tell you, Lisa, that he's learned a ton, not only from Melvin Gordon, but from James White. And all of that knowledge, coupled with the skill that he has certainly shown in his young career, going to be on display next year. He's certainly the heir apparent to that throne, assuming Melvin Gordon moves on to the next level.
And Clement's played this role before in big games, where they take Melvin out and he breaks a big play for a score.
First down and 5 at the 37-yard line. Here's Melvin Gordon. And Gordon out to the 40-yard line, just across the 40. And it'll bring up a second and short. Now, don't forget, of course, one of the great traditions in college football, the jump around to start the fourth quarter. Jerry DiNardo has just switched into his jumping shoes. He'll have the jump around, and we will have it for you here on BTN. We'll carry the jump around in between the third and fourth quarters.
Do we jump around?
You've got to limber up a little bit.
I'm limber.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
I'm not seeing any signs of that limberness yet, but I look forward to it.
I'll look for it.
Second down and 2. Erickson in motion. Gordon to carry. Melvin Gordon with a first down as he hops over a tackle down to the 44-yard line. Eric Murray was the guy Gordon tried to hop over, and as he did, he reached up and able to pull him down, but it is a first down for Wisconsin.
Remember now, the first half, Minnesota set their defense so that Wisconsin couldn't get the edge. And so now Wisconsin's going inside. Expect Minnesota now to start filling the inside holes and not worrying so much about the edge.
On first down, Gordon and Watt in the backfield. Play action, stopping. Looking deep down the far sideline. Erickson out of bounds, and the pass incomplete. Eric Murray with good coverage on Alex Erickson.
Yeah, very good coverage by Murray, and that's not a bad play. It's not complete. It's not a big play, but it tells Minnesota we're not done throwing it deep on 1st and 10. And so it's all part of how a play caller, you can burn a play like that as a play caller, knowing it's going to impact another series on 1st and 10.
Now Tanner McAvoy comes in on 2nd and 10 after the deep shot. Stavy on the sidelines. McAvoy and Watt in the backfield for Wisconsin. McAvoy on the run to the edge with a stiff arm, and McAvoy caught from behind by Damian Wilson.
Again, just, Wilson's just sideline to sideline. Really an outstanding play.
Now watch it again. You heard a few Wisconsin fans grumbling about the tackle at the end, but Wilson just grabbing the jersey.
Yeah. Absolutely legal tackle.
And you saw Wilson get up and make sure, as he was talking to the official, great shot by our crew, Wilson saying, look, I pulled the jersey. The official nodding his head. Yeah, you did. 3rd down and 7 at the 47. Rob Wheelwright in motion. And movement up front. This is going to cost Wisconsin 5.
False start. Offense number 49. 5-yard penalty. Repeat. 3rd down.
Tight end Sam Arneson with the early advance.
Yeah, you see Arneson get a little bit of a jump. Now, interesting enough, Wisconsin changed personnel, so they obviously changed the play because the situation hasn't changed all that much, but now Minnesota knows it's a different play call because they have different personnel in the Wisconsin huddle.
Corey Clement in now for Wisconsin in the backfield next to Joel Stavy. 3rd down and 12 at the 42-yard line. Stavi, pressure coming late. Steps away, finds Clement. Clement at the 45, dancing away, and then down in the arms of Eric Murray at the 48, short of the first down, and the Gopher defense with a big hold here.
Yeah, I mean, Eric Murray made that play. He kept the ball inside in front of him. He was aware of the down and distance. He knew a safe tackle makes Wisconsin punt. You'll see him come up here, get his arms around. His head's on the outside. Clement gets outside, but he was going to force the ball back inside. That's good team defense.
Drew Meyer on the punt. Craig James waiting at the 15-yard line. Good pump by Meyer. James from the 8-yard line. James down. Kenzel Doe on the tackle for Wisconsin at the 14. A 44-yard punt for Drew Meyer. 1:11 remaining in the third, and a 3-point game. Minnesota starting deep in their own end. Next Saturday, it is the Big Ten championship game. Who will it be, Minnesota or Wisconsin, taking on the Ohio State Buckeyes? 8 p.m. Eastern on Fox for the Big Ten championship game. Minnesota trying to earn their first trip to the Big Ten championship game. Of course, Wisconsin's had a taste of that before and been very successful in their 2 trips. Wins over Michigan State and Nebraska. From the 13 on first down. Cobb upended just shy of the 15-yard line. Trotter and Caputo. You've heard those names a lot today. They've been involved a lot for Wisconsin.
Yeah, and Caputo, you know, partially because of the scheme. I mean, obviously he's a good player, but again, in this scheme, they're going to bring linebackers and secondary players almost on every down to get the numbers in the box in their favor. And that was another example of it.
Caputo averaging over 7 tackles per game. He's gone over that number so far tonight. Second down and 8 at the 15-yard line. Leidner on the keep, and Leidner tripped up from behind, falling forward near a first down. Derek Landish got him around the ankle, a yard short of the first, 3rd and 1 for Minnesota, winding down this third quarter.
Critical down, but Minnesota's pretty good in this down. I mean, the first half, they were 3 for 3. Every time it was 3 down, 3 and 3 or less. They were 2 for 2 the first half on this situation. And obviously, this is a good situation for any run team, obviously including Minnesota.
They're 3 for 10 overall, but we're not going to see this third down until the fourth quarter begins. As usual, the press box swaying along. Lisa Boddington, that's not really jumping, that's more clicking. Disappointed that Howard Griffith isn't doing the jump around. Even a few Gophers doing the jump around.
Where is Howard?
I assume that will come up frequently during the next week on BTN. The lack of Howard jumping.
Maybe he was moving so fast the camera couldn't catch him.
Fourth quarter about to begin. What a day in tonight it's been at Camp Randall. A 3rd and 2 at the 22-yard line for Minnesota starts our fourth quarter, and it's Leidner. Great fake and a first down to the 34-yard line. Marcus Trotter finally caught him, but 12 yards downfield. Mitch Leidner gets the first down.
Yeah, you said it, Kevin. Great fake. He sunk the read, meaning he stayed with the running back as long as possible before he pulled the ball, and it sucked the Wisconsin defense in. Really well done by Mitch Leidner and his ball handler.
Drew Goodger limping off afterwards as we watch it again.
Watch him sink the defense. They all closed. Sherby closes, and Leidner gets in that seam. There's a seam just outside the right tackle's right cheek.
The 34-yard line, first down. Here's Cobb. And Cobb picks up 3 to the 37. Derek Landish on the stop for Wisconsin.
So now that things have settled down, you've seen about everything that the offense is going to do to you. So Wisconsin's got to defend the misdirection, the Cobb downhill, and Leidner in the crease. And when Minnesota gets that going, they're really hard to defend.
What a day for Cobb. 23 carries, 114 yards, and he was questionable up till 2 hours before kickoff.
Tough as nails, Kevin. Tough as nails.
2nd and 7 at the 37-yard line. Leidner off the play fake, and the pass incomplete. That pressure was coming. He tried to hit May, his outlet, and it's 3rd down.
They tried to run a wheel route right up the boundary. It's a big play. It's taking a shot. They had it set up, but just wasn't executed.
So now a tough 3rd and 7. You talked about it earlier. They've been very good, obviously, on 3rd and 3 or less. On 3rd and long, just 1 for 7 tonight are the Gophers. This is certainly 3rd and long, 3rd and 7.
This is a tough situation for any offense, especially these two. Obviously, right now, it's Minnesota's turn.
4th down and 7. Leidner, pressure coming late, airing into the sideline, incomplete. He wanted Frichte at the Badger 43. He got popped as he got rid of that football, and Leidner struggling up just a bit. That pressure coming from Schobert, and it came right as he got rid of it.
And he's playing linebacker, so the 3-down lineman rush. The problem an offense has against a 3-down lineman front is you don't know who the 4th rusher is going to be, because there's 4 linebackers, so the 4th rusher can come from any one of those 4. This time it was Schobert.
Time for the Gophers. Mortel, another good one. Doe back to the 14-yard line. Kenzel Doe with a crease. And Kenzel Doe hit by Botticelli and dropped just across the 30-yard line. Kenzel Doe, for a moment, had a glimmer. He's a nice return. A 49-yard punt, a 17-yard return. Badgers with the ball and the lead. 15 minutes and 31 seconds. But this year it comes with a bigger prize, the ticket to the Big Ten championship game next weekend. Badgers with a 20-17 lead. Stabby and Wisconsin on 1st down. The quick screen bobbled by Erickson. They're going to not whistle this dead as of yet. Now they're going to say incomplete. There was a hesitation on the part of the official on the far side to say incomplete, and the line judge had to come over and say incomplete pass.
He may have been sitting, he wasn't sure if it was a lateral maybe. But Kevin, the first half, Wisconsin threw the ball on 1st and 10, 3 of 12 times. So far this half, they've thrown it 5 times and run it 6 times. They're almost 50% after being 3 of 12 the first half. Obviously, that was the halftime adjustment.
Striving for a little balance in the play calling. And now 2nd and 10 after the incompletion. And a whistle.
Ruling on the previous play.
They're going to look at it.
Pass and incomplete. The previous play is under further review.
To your point, they're going to look at it to see if it was indeed a lateral and then would be a fumble.
That's why I think the official was indecisive. Let's take a look at it. See it again. Looks like Wisconsin recovers.
I believe they do. Wisconsin recovers it at the end, but it's a field position situation. Although he got it at the 31-yard line either way. If it's an incomplete pass, it's at the 31 where the recovery was.
Example of how both really well coached these teams are. No one assumed that it was a forward pass. And that's what you have to do, whether you're playing offense or defense. When it's that close and it hits the ground, you assume it's a fumble. Don't think that it was an incomplete pass. Both teams understood that.
Replay booth checking this one out. John Corus, our replay official tonight. One last look at it. Jordan Frederick was over there. And again, it's got to be indisputable video evidence to overturn the call on the field. The call on the field is an incomplete pass. So they're going to have to see something that shows that it is absolutely a fumble by Wisconsin.
Here we go.
After further review, the ball was fumbled. It was a backward pass recovered by the offensive team. It will be 2nd down.
So it is a fumble, and it's still Wisconsin football. So really, They wanted to see a clear recovery just to make sure that it was not Minnesota that came up with it. Jordan Frederick came up with it. So it hurts not at all. 2nd and 10 at the 31-yard line. Same as if it had been an incomplete pass. And now Wisconsin lines up on 2nd down. Melvin Gordon. Gordon breaks one tackle, breaks another, and is tripped up on the 39-yard line by Cedric Thompson as we get another Slim Jim studio update.
Kevin, let's call this the comeback in College Park. Rutgers has erased a 25-point deficit. Gary Nova to Andre Patton. Scarlet Knights and Maryland Terrapins tied at 38 early in the 4th.
What a comeback. 25 points down.
Gary Nova.
3rd down and 2 at the 39. Here's Gordon again with the spin. Gordon bouncing to the outside. Melvin Gordon cuts it back. Gordon inside the 40 with a 1st down at the Gopher 37-yard line. What a run by Melvin Gordon. Jack Lynn catches him 24 yards later.
Great vision by Melvin. He sees the defensive flow to his right, and this is something he didn't do the second half. What? He plants on that right foot, spins, and goes across. Minnesota cannot lose contain. They didn't lose it almost at all the first half. They've lost contain a few times this half.
One more look at Melvin Gordon.
Might want to put that ball away, Melvin.
23 carries, 120 yards now for Gordon. Clement up the middle. Travis on the tackle. And Howard Griffith, Melvin Gordon back over 100 yards again.
One of the things that you're seeing is he's been close all night, but the Gophers have been able to try to keep him contained. As Coach Donato talked about, they lost contain there. He's really close to breaking the big one.
How many times have we seen that from Melvin Gordon over the course of this season? And in the second half of games this year, Gordon averaging nearly 10 yards per carry. Gets better as the game goes on. 2nd and 5 at the 32-yard line. Clement up the middle, big hole. Corey Clement inside the 5, and he's going to be down at the 1. Eric Murray saves the touchdown for the moment, but Corey Clement nearly with his 2nd rushing touchdown of the day.
Really well done by Wisconsin. The fly sweep distracted the linebackers, and the linebackers got split. You'll see the linebackers, they have to keep the same arm free towards the ball, but they get split because the fly sweep distracted them. Very well designed. Oh! There's an official right there. He's got the best seat in the house.
And he says short. So now Melvin Gordon comes back in at running back on 1st down and goal from the 1. Gordon the carry. Gordon into the end zone for the touchdown. Touchdown this year for Melvin Gordon, and Wisconsin now with a 2-score lead.
And really, I thought Minnesota did a good job penetrating the line of scrimmage. They couldn't front Melvin up. It was actually pretty good line play. Usually, whoever team penetrates wins that situation. I think if you see it, you'll see Minnesota actually did penetrate, but Melvin was just by him too quickly. That's great acceleration.
That's Dan Volt, excuse me, coach, the center for Wisconsin, limping off to the sideline.
Always a little tricky when you replace a center. You know, sometimes you move a guard or tackle, you move the different guys around, or the 2nd team center, because they want to see how Wisconsin adjusts if he doesn't come back in. You have exchange problems. Plus, remember, there's 2 different snaps. There's the short snap and the spread snap. So it takes some skill to play center in both systems.
Rafael Gaglianone on for the extra point. And a 10-point lead for the Wisconsin Badgers, who have scored 24 unanswered points. The running game getting it done. Corey Clement getting to the doorstep for the Wisconsin Badgers. And then Melvin Gordon for the 26th time this year. He has passed several today to get up to 2,230 yards. Look at the names on that list. Melvin Gordon is in some rarefied air with the season that he is having. 2,200+ yards for Melvin Gordon. And the kickoff fielded by Jalen Myrick, frustrated as he has to take a knee for the touchback. Don't forget, next Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Fox. It's the Big Ten Championship game, either Minnesota or Wisconsin, taking on the Ohio State Buckeyes. Cardale Jones will be the starting quarterback for Ohio State. J.T. Barrett lost for the year today in the Buckeyes win over Michigan.
And the last time Ohio State was in a situation where their first quarterback got hurt, it worked out pretty good.
It certainly did. J.T. Barrett has had a record-breaking season. Unfortunately for J.T. Barrett with the injury today, his season is over. One of these two teams looking forward to a chance to take on Ohio State. 10-point ball game. Minnesota from their own 25-yard line. And on first down, Leidner to the edge. Got a block from Max Williams, and Leidner a 9-yard pickup to the 34-yard line. We haven't talked about Max Williams at all in the pass game, but that block on the edge opening up a running lane for Mitch Leidner.
Yeah, that's one of the things that makes Williams one of the best tight ends in the country. Is he can do it all. He can do it both, a receiver and a blocker. I love the play call. There's a lot of time left. You're a running team. You get a score in this drive. It's an entirely different ball game. Just stick with what you've done, and that's what Jerry Kill always does.
Just 2 first downs in the second half from Minnesota. 2nd and 1 here at the 34-yard line. Here's Cobb, and Cobb's got the first down across the 35 before a host of Badgers driving back at the 36-yard line.
Move the chains, do what you do, take over the line of scrimmage. If you're Minnesota, you've won the line of scrimmage probably the entire first half, and there's no reason why you can't regain it. And this play selection is the way you regain the line of scrimmage.
12th tackle of the night for Marcus Trotter for the Badgers. But Jerry Kill's Gophers with a first down and 10, just shy of their 37-yard line. 24 straight points for the Badgers to take this 10-point lead. Leidner to the air on first down. K.J. May with the catch, and Sojourn Shelton right there with the collision as he made the catch. May, no chance to advance.
No, but again, now they've got Wisconsin a little bit off balance with the pass. They can't constantly run it, but they'll be predominant run. This is a good situation for them. They've got their entire playbook in this situation, and you're ahead of them down the distance.
2nd and 4 at the 43-yard line. Leidner on the keep. Fumbled the football, picked it back up at the 44-yard line. Michael Caputo on the tackle. 10th tackle for Caputo.
Again, watch Caputo. He's going to add to the box as late as possible. Right there. He times it up perfect. It's a slow blitz. It's a blitz where you just time up the snap, and you're in position to be the extra guy and make the tackle. Very well done by the Wisconsin defense.
3rd down and a short 3. The first down is between the 46 and 47-yard line. Leidner off play action. Open is Williams. Wide open down the sideline. Williams to the Badger 30. Williams inside the 10. Caught by Caputo inside the 5. We hadn't mentioned Max Williams' game in the pass game until right there. The big play sets up the Gophers with a 1st and goal.
Coming into the game, he led Minnesota in a lot of the receiving categories, but the one thing that's not a stat is big plays. Look at him here. It's a hide route, so he started at the left tight end. He let all the flow cross his face, and he slowly got to the soft spot. Very well executed.
53 yards, and for the 23rd time in 26 catches for Williams this year, he gets a first down or a touchdown as Cobb starts on first down, lunging ahead inside the 3. Not much room there, though. Wisconsin did a nice job of limiting David Cobb, and it's 2nd down.
Yeah, I think they'll continue to run the ball. I don't see why they would change up on second down. If you want to throw it in a situation, usually the first and fourth down, if you go for it, are the best times. Once you get in the second and third down, if you get behind the stakes, you know the defense starts playing for both.
Under 7:45 remaining in this ball game. 10-point game, Minnesota on the doorstep. Leidner on the key. Leidner reaching for the goal line, touchdown. And the Gophers vault right back in it as Leidner scores to bring Minnesota within 4.
That came down to Leidner against Caputo, and Leidner won that. It was the perfect call by Minnesota. It was the perfect defense, and at some point, watch it right here, you've got Caputo against Leidner. Everybody was in the right spot. The offense was a good call, the defense was a good call, and now you let the players play. Leidner won that one.
Santoso on for the extra point. 4th rushing touchdown in the last 2 games for Leidner. And Santoso makes it a 3-point game. 27-24. Minnesota down just 3 with 7:32 to go. A 7-play, 75-yard drive capped by the touchdown run from Mitch Leidner. And the battle for the Axe rolls on. We didn't even know if he'd play until about an hour before kickoff.
Hardest working player and probably one of the toughest players on that field.
7th game this year with 100 or more yards, and hard to do against a defense as good as the Wisconsin Badger defense.
We have seen more running backs cutting back against the grain on both these defenses. It's been impressive.
Kenzel Doe back deep for Wisconsin, and that kickoff will go through the end zone for the touchback. Howard Griffith is down on the sideline. 7:32 to go in the 4th. Howard, what do you think?
Yeah, Kevin, this has really turned into obviously a very interesting game. That last series was really impressive, but they're starting to take advantage of over-pursuing. Coach was talking about the cutback run. Well, that also happens in the pass game as well when you saw Max Williams coming out the backside versus the play action.
Yeah, it was a great hide route, Howard. I don't know if your angle you could see it, but Max just kind of hid behind the linebackers going opposite everyone else and just came wide open.
1st down and 10 at the 25-yard line. Badgers with the 3-point lead and the football. Doe in motion. The give to Melvin Gordon. Gordon across the 30 and down to the 32. That's a 7-yard pickup for Melvin Gordon. Damian Wilson with the tackle for Minnesota.
Now, Minnesota has to defend both run and pass on 1st and 10 the second half. Not the first half, but the second half. And that's one of the reasons that crease came open. They can't give up the big play, the big pass play on 1st and 10.
25 carries, 128 yards for Melvin Gordon. 2nd down and 3 at the 32-yard line. Gordon again runs into some traffic, fights forward, gets the 1st down. Melvin Gordon, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th effort gets him the 1st. Travis on the tackle for Minnesota.
You know, there's a lot of similarities between these two teams, and I'd say running backs running through tackles, keeping their legs going, both on Minnesota's side with Cobb and obviously with Melvin. They are hard-running running backs.
Let's check in downstairs with Lisa Byington. Lisa?
Well, center Dan Volz is back in for this series here for Wisconsin. They taped up his left ankle outside of his shoe area there, and he was pretty adamant about trying to get back into this one. He has a very noticeable limp on the sideline, but he didn't want to miss out in these final 6.5 minutes.
From the 37 on 1st down, Gordon again. Volz right there to try to help him along as he gets to the 43-yard line. Wilson on the tackle, but a 6-yard carry again on 1st down for Melvin Gordon.
So now Minnesota's got to start adding someone to the box. And if they throw the ball, they've got to play man coverage behind it. They can't just keep letting Wisconsin crease them. So even though they have to defend both, they've got to bring an extra guy and play man coverage behind it, which they're used to playing all the time anyway.
Your job as a play caller is so much easier when somebody like Melvin Gordon rushes for 6 and 7 yards on 1st down each pop, isn't it?
If you are half successful as a play caller on 1st and 10, it doesn't get any better than that.
2nd and 4 at the 43-yard line. Clement back in and running back. The toss to Erickson on the screen, and Erickson down the sideline. Alex Erickson, another big play through the air as Erickson's finally down at the 26-yard line. Alex Erickson having a huge day through the air for Wisconsin.
Just a quick throw out to the boundary. You see Minnesota comes up, hat on the outside. I don't know if that's Eric Murray. I couldn't catch his number, but he's got to force that ball back inside. He can't let it get outside between him and the boundary.
31 yards, Stave to Erickson. And on first down, here's Clement. Clement to the edge. Jumps over a big mess in front of him and gets an extra yard or two in the process.
Wisconsin's changing up some of the blocking schemes. They're running some zone with a lead blocker. Then they're running some gap schemes, trying to keep Minnesota guessing with them. I'd say the line of scrimmage is now back. I'd be interested in Howard's opinion, now back on Wisconsin's side. And it's gone back and forth most of the game.
Howard, what do you think about this one? We'll hear from Howard in a moment. Second down and a yard at the 17-yard line. Stave off the play action. Stave for the end zone. Caught. Touchdown. Rob Wheelwright. What a time for your first catch of the year. Rob Wheelwright chooses 4:41 left in the fourth in the West Division title game.
He runs a skinny post. It's 2nd and 1, a waist down, meaning if you don't get it, you can get it back and move the chains on 3rd and 1 or 4th and 1.
Aglianone on for the extra point. It is good. And the lead grows back to 10 for the Wisconsin Badgers. And frustration on the Minnesota side and elation for Wisconsin. Stave off the play action. Perfectly thrown ball to catch for Rob Wheelwright. He's got his first career touchdown and his first catch of the year. Gives the Badgers a 10-point. In the fourth quarter, the chance to go to Indianapolis for the Big Ten championship game. Pretty good moment for that guy.
And he ran the perfect route, and he also had the benefit of 2nd and 1. Wisconsin's been running the ball. The linebacker sucks up, and Wheelwright gets right behind the linebacker and right in front of the free safety, what you call a skinny post. And one more time, Stave was right on target. Very well executed.
4:41 to go as the Badgers will kick it off. Myrick from 2 yards deep, out he comes. Jalen Myrick. Tripped up before he gets to the 15-yard line. Terrific play in coverage, and now the Gophers are going to start deep in their own end. One more look at the touchdown. Wheelwright able to find his way into the end zone for 6, and a 10-point advantage for the Badgers. Rob Wheelwright helping spark this Badger offense that had just 64 yards in the first quarter. Since that time, 359 yards of offense for Wisconsin. Now it's up to the Gophers, down 2 scores, 4:36 to play, starting at their own 14-yard line. Widener met and dropped by Beagle. He fell forward for a yard to the 15.
Now the strategy switches to Wisconsin. You know, no reason to be overly aggressive. Okay, they've got the lead. They've got a 10-point lead. They've got Minnesota backed up. You can be a little bit more conservative defensively.
Second down and 9 at the 15. Widener on the keep. And Widener tackled by Trotter at the 19-yard line. 4-yard pickup for Mitch Leidner. Limited possessions. It's what Gary Anderson told us yesterday was one of the big things in this game. You know coming in, the way they run the ball most times, that possessions are going to be limited. That really hurts Minnesota right now, down 2 scores.
Absolutely, because Wisconsin gets the ball back, they kill the clock. Looks like Wisconsin's pressuring here. They're in man coverage with a single free safety right in the middle.
And the pass incomplete, looking for KJ May on 3rd and 5. Leidner dropped as he got rid of it. Vince Beagle providing the pressure on Mitch Leidner.
Yeah, once again, you see Beagle. He's the extra runner. Leiden feels them. It was very well covered. It was well executed by Wisconsin.
Meanwhile, Peniel Jean is down on the turf for Wisconsin while they tend to him a quick time. Walking off and being looked at on the bench now for Wisconsin. 4th down and 5. Gophers are going to punt. Kenzel Doe back deep. And Doe calling for the fair catch. Bobbles it and pounces on top of it at the 37-yard line. He fumbled one earlier. That one was a heart-in-your-throat moment for Badger fans as that one carried away.
Yeah, quick thinking, just get on the ball. Don't make a bad situation worse. Minnesota's got them backed up. Minnesota now is going to be aggressive on defense, trying to force Wisconsin to make a mistake.
3:27 to go in the 4th. Gophers with all 3 timeouts that will certainly come into play here.
And when you talk about being on schedule on 1st and 10, this is a critical time that you want to be on schedule, because that puts Minnesota back on their heels because the chains are moving and they've got to continue to bring more and more pressure.
At the 37, 1st down. Melvin Gordon to carry again. Breaks a tackle. Melvin Gordon out near the 43-yard line. Another 6-yard run on 1st down for Melvin Gordon in Wisconsin.
So now time for Wisconsin to be conservative and Minnesota to start bringing some linebackers.
Minnesota using their first timeout. 2 remaining. 3:17 to go in the 4th. Of course, the winner of this game knows they are playing next week. The Big Ten Championship next Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern on Fox. Ohio State waits. Will it be Minnesota or Wisconsin to provide the opposition for the Buckeyes? Next Saturday, 8 o'clock Eastern on Fox. And the standings, Ohio State winning the East. Of course, Wisconsin and Minnesota battling for the West here in Madison.
The great thing about a conference divided up in 2 divisions, so many more people are involved in the championship. Minnesota and Wisconsin, those players went to practice every day this week saying, we're playing for a championship, and it's the last week of November. It wasn't like this when you were one division, or if you were one division with 10 teams or 11 teams.
No, it really gives you the opportunity to continue to have something to motivate and play for.
Absolutely. It changes the whole way a player and a coach looks at the end of the season.
2nd and 4 at the 43-yard line. Melvin Gordon again. Melvin Gordon with a 1st down to the 49-yard line. Travis with the tackle, and if Demarius Travis does not pull down Melvin Gordon, there was a lot of green and open space in front of him, and Melvin Gordon holding his right ankle at the end of that play. Oh my goodness.
Let's see if he turns it on his way down.
But Travis had a hold of it. It's that right ankle that he was limping on. Travis has it, and as he rolls, the ankle rolls with it.
Here's the best look of his right ankle. Oh, might have been right when he rolled.
Corey Clement in as Melvin Gordon tries to walk that off. The crowd chanting Melvin Gordon. 29 carries, 151 yards for Melvin Gordon. Clement in. He's got 4 carries for 73. And here's Clement again. Nice move in traffic for Clement as he gets down near the 47 of the Gophers, and a timeout used by Minnesota. They have 1 timeout left with 2:44 to play, down by 10.
You can always stop the clock when you have the ball. You just need enough time on it. So you want to burn these timeouts now so you have some time left when you get the ball back.
Melvin Gordon, you see him limping back out to the field. Melvin Gordon, our John Deere Gator, game-changing performance. He certainly changed this game. 29 carries, 151 yards. He's changed a lot of games this year with his 2,260 rushing yards this season.
He's just so explosive, especially on the 2nd and 3rd levels. And first half, he wasn't seeing the cutbacks. Second half, he saw the cutbacks. and made the difference.
All right, the question becomes, will they have to hire a contractor in the Madison area to expand the Heisman Trophy case? Jerry DiNardo?
I'd keep one on call, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no doubt this is going to be what looks like a very close race. I think a lot more people have seen Melvin than Mariota, who appears to be his competition. It's hard to deny Melvin's numbers.
2nd and 6 at the 47-yard line. Clement again. Clement following the walk. Got a ball. Clement down the sideline. Clement fighting his way inside the 25. A flag down back at midfield after the run to the 24 by Corey Clement.
I'm guessing it could be holding.
Holding, offense number 73. 10-yard penalty, replayed 2nd down.
That's Dallas Llewellyn, who moved over. Dan Volt's back out from center. Llewellyn's playing center now and called for the hold.
Bad news for Wisconsin is the holding penalty. Good news is they still have the ball. They burn in the clock. Keep on moving it. Minnesota's got to get them in 3rd and long and get the conversion.
Got a hold of Steven Richardson. Pulled him away from the play. Clock will start. 2:33 and counting to go in this 4th quarter. Gophers only have 1 timeout. Badgers facing a 2nd and 16 back near their 43-yard line. And no rush at all for Wisconsin. They're going to take this one all the way down, and then they're going to use one of their 3 timeouts. That's exactly what Gary Anderson does with the play clock down to 1, calls timeout.
2 veteran coaches, they're not likely to make a mistake with clock management. I mean, these guys have been head coaches for a long time. They've been in this situation a bunch, and they will manage this clock as good as it can be managed.
Although one could argue certainly not in this situation with the stakes where they are as often. This is certainly a little bigger game than most.
Yeah, I mean, Jerry Kill's been in a lot of championship situations. Not at Minnesota until today, but championship's a championship. Doesn't really matter what level you're coaching, and clock management is something that has been a lot of head coaches down through the years if you don't do it right.
Howard Griffith down on the field. You've played the position. You certainly have had the chance to watch Melvin Gordon all season long. Just kind of your overall thoughts, Howard, on what you've seen from Melvin this year.
Yes, guys, and also I want to give you a quick update. Melvin has gotten his ankle re-spatted, so if they need him, it looks like he will be available. But as I've watched him over his entire career, I've really been more impressed with the last 2 weeks of the games that he's played. Really tough runner, doing a great job inside.
Yeah, he's been so strong down the stretch for this Wisconsin team. 2nd and 16 at the 43-yard line. Clement again with the carry, following his block. Clement caught just across midfield by Cedric Thompson, who's played a fine game for Minnesota. Thompson with the tackle at the 49 after the 8-yard pickup, and the timeout utilized by the Gophers, their final timeout of this ball game. So now Wisconsin with the 10-point lead. 2:06 to go. No timeouts left for Minnesota.
No timeouts. And again, when you're on offense, you know, it's nice to have them, but this is absolutely what you have to do. You've got to put your offense back on the field with as much time as possible and not worry about having a timeout for them. They can throw an incompletion, they can spike the ball, they can do whatever the situation calls for.
Well, we know the Axe has not been in its usual position in this game. After last year, they've hidden the Axe away in the locker room, waiting for its chance to make its appearance here at Camp Randall. After last year, where there was a little bit of a, I'll say, an animated discussion at the end of the game when Minnesota's players guarded their goalpost and would not allow Wisconsin the traditional chop of the goalpost. I'd say 2 things, 2 good decisions. I like Minnesota's decision last year not to let Wisconsin do it, and I like the decision to get the thing off the field this year. I'm glad Minnesota did that. It's moved us in the right direction. 3rd down and 8 at the 49-yard line. Clement again. Gary Anderson opting to let the clock run a little bit. Takes it to the 45. This is last year. The Axe, of course, has been in the possession of the Badgers for much longer than Gopher fans would certainly like. But Wisconsin last year got the 20-7 victory. They chopped down their end, and then they get to the other end, and why, they're the Gophers. You can't get to our goalpost. No, I don't blame Minnesota. I think they did the right thing. I think they forced everyone to start a new tradition, right? Don't come near our goalpost. You won the game, it's still our goalpost. I like that. The motto used to be, we must protect this house, not we must protect this goalpost. When it comes to the Axe, you must. Time to punt for the Badgers with 1:23 to go. James is going to call fair catch. It's going to sail into the end zone for the touchback. And Minnesota with no timeouts, down 10, 1:17 to go. Not a great situation for the Gophers here.
Not a great situation for the Gophers. Now, Dave Aranda, defensive coordinator, he's got 2-score lead. So he thinks about that every time he makes the call.
He's a guy who's got a little championship experience on the sideline. The athletic director, former head coach Barry Alvarez, as we check in with Lisa Byington.
Yeah, Kevin, I talked to Barry Alvarez before the game. He said, you know, the key for being a coach in this series, you need to make this game a priority. My first year, I didn't understand it. And then the next year, I hired an assistant from Minnesota, and he says, what are you doing? So since then, they give the players a history lesson each year. They have video from the past Wisconsin wins that play all around the football building. They make sure that every player touches the axe. Those are changes that are still in place, even though he's not the coach anymore.
On first down, the pass intended for Isaac Fricke, and it's incomplete. And while you were talking, Lisa, we could see Barry Alvarez, speaking of giving a history lesson, he was talking to those little kids and giving them a history lesson. You could tell he's saying what they do is they take the axe and they go over and they chop down the goalposts. And the kids had a big grin on their face, because what kid wouldn't like the idea of chopping down a goalpost with an axe?
So you think that conversation was about the axe, huh?
I'm pretty sure. Second down, and the pass incomplete to Donovan Jones, and now third down. Clock stops with 1:08 to play.
You know, both these coaches, both these teams have got some great coaching stories behind them. Glenn Mason at Minnesota, what he did. You look at Wisconsin, and you got Barry Alvarez, and you have Brett Bielema, and now Gary Anderson. Consistency through 3 coaching staffs.
Third down and 10. Leidner to the sideline, incomplete. Max Williams in the area. Caputo out there on the coverage. It is fourth down, and it's maybe the final play for Minnesota here in Madison. Wisconsin with a stop and claim the axe once more and move on to the championship.
Took them down to this play.
Fourth down and 10 at the 20-yard line. Go for 7 of 8 on fourth down this year. They need to convert to stay alive. KJ May bobbles it. It is incomplete, and Wisconsin is going to claim the axe and the ticket to the Big Ten championship game. It's Badgers and Buckeyes next Saturday in Indy.
That's going to be a great matchup. But I'll tell you what, Kevin, this was a great matchup. This was a incredibly hard-fought game. Started at the line of scrimmage. We've had big plays on both sides. We had the momentum on Minnesota's side, the momentum taken back by Wisconsin. It's been back and forth. I don't know that we would have expected anything other than what we've seen.
And both teams should be congratulated for the season that they have had, finishing 1-2 in the West Division. The knee is taken. Joel Stave. It's been an up and down year for that quarterback, but what an up finish today in this West Division championship matchup against the Golden Gophers. 11 of 18, 215 yards, 2 touchdowns, and no interceptions for Joel Stave.
He's come a long way. You know, first time he played was like the 6th game of the year. They were patient with him, and he came back.
And the Badgers do not have to snap it again. And Wisconsin making a beeline for the axe as it's brought out by Bucky. And there is the axe. It's staying in Madison. The Wisconsin Badgers, your 2014 Big Ten West Division champions. Ohio State and Wisconsin, the Big Ten title game in Indy on Saturday night. Making his way with the axe to the other end. And why not? Your right tackle's been leading the way all year. Let him lead the way with the axe to the other end. to chop the goalpost.
The X looks smaller in Havenstein's hands, doesn't it?
Let's check it downstairs with police.